Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Godlike Naruto takes his inheritance by force. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Mr.XavierWulf and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. Time is fickle. Rain fell upon the land as the battlefield slowly became quiet. Naruto stood in the middle of the field, dead bodies lay motionless around him in vast numbers. Rain pouring down his dark red hair, making it sleek and fall down onto his face. Madara and Obito are dead at his feet, both having finally fallen after a tailed beast Rasengan. It's over, Naruto said softly, with nobody but Kurama left to hear him. It is Kit. It's all finally over. Naruto looks around, with nothing but fatigue running through his body. Naruto had cried all his tears out long ago. At the young age of 24, Naruto had lost everyone to the harsh war. Kakashi, Sakura, Sasuke all dead because of those two. Kit, I know Kurama, it's just hard to accept that they all died for me for essentially nothing. There's nobody left now. I'm the last one. Even the other tailed beasts sacrificed themselves for us. Kurama looks at the only human he would ever consider a brother, with a small sense of sadness filling the beast. His brother didn't deserve this much pain, not after the childhood he had to live through because of him. Though no human deserved to go through what Naruto endured as a child. No child deserved to be raped or beaten every week. Regardless, a faint memory pulled at Kurama. Kid, I do have an idea. Although I'm not sure if it will work or not. What is it, Kurama? At this point I would do anything to see them again. There is an ancient level 10 Fuinjutsu that would possibly be able to send us back in time. I remember some of it from my time in Mito before she left Uzushiogakure. If you can give me the basis of the seal, I am sure I can figure out the rest. After all, I am a seal grandmaster. Kurama smiles at Naruto through the seal, though Naruto doesn't know this. Kurama is proud that Naruto was able to become a seal grandmaster when no other Fuinjutsu practitioner ever had before. Not even his father. The basis of the seal, if I remember correctly, is a level 9 pentagon holding seal with a time flux stipulation on the center. Naruto slowly scratches his chin as he sits down in the freezing mud, his dark leather haori getting more filthy than it already was. Slowly, he pulls out a sealing scroll from inside his sleeve that puffs out a blank piece of parchment, and top-grade sealing supplies. Hopefully Dad's calligraphy set can do me well here. Usually I would use my own, but for this it's best I use Dad's stuff. Kurama nods from within the seal, simply staying quiet as Naruto gets busy drawing numerous different seal patterns. Kurama knows better than to disturb his only friend when he gets to working on seals like this. It's the one true connection Naruto has to his parents, after all. After a couple of hours, Naruto finally stops drawing the seal. I think the seal should be ready. Using the level 9 pentagon holding seal with time flux as well as some nature and law chakra, as well as a level 10 world seal, it should, in theory, work. This should work, Kit. With the world seal, there shouldn't be any time paradox effects or butterfly effects either. In all honesty, it will be like we are timeline hopping. We could be going into a new timeline entirely. We just don't know. Naruto nods as he lays the scroll on the ground. Naruto starts going through numerous hand signs, eventually landing on the Toru hand seal. Sealing arts. Time warp. Naruto yells into the empty night air. Naruto starts feeling himself get pulled into the scroll, feeling his entire soul get pulled along as well. This is it, Kurama. Either we go back in time, or we die in the process. I believe in you, Kit. Always remember that. No matter the result, you will be okay. Thank you, Kurama. I'll see you once we get warped. With that last thought, Naruto's full body gets pulled into the scroll, leaving nothing on the empty battlefield except for dead bodies and the rain. Naruto blinks the blurriness out of his eyes as he groggily sits up, trying to observe his surroundings. It's about time you woke up, you lazy Kit. You have been laying in this forest for the last couple of hours. Kurama's voice drawls lazily from within the open seal. Naruto finally opens his eyes fully, recognizing the forest as part of the forest near Konoha. I'd say we are about 10 or so miles from Konoha. What do you think, Kurama? Humph. You're one of the best sensors to ever be born, Kit. You really think I could sense the chakra of your village any better than you can? Naruto shakes his head in amusement before pulling out his sealing supplies. After a minute or two, Naruto applies a seal to his left arm. That should conceal my vast amounts of chakra. This way I won't alert any of the sensor neens on the barrier squad. That's probably for the best, young one. Who knows how hostile your fellow ninja could be in this day and age. As of now we don't even know how far back we traveled. You're right, of course. Hopefully Hokage Gigi is in charge and not somebody else. If somebody else is in charge and doesn't know the Hokage and Umbu codes, then I am going to have a very tough time explaining how I got here. Running through the summoning hand seals, Naruto summons Kurama out of the seal. Kurama poofs on the ground in the form of a small red fox. Kurama hops up onto Naruto's shoulder, coiling himself around Naruto's neck before quickly falling asleep. Naruto snorts in amusement before starting to walk over to the direction of chakra he senses to his north. Konoha Northern Gates. Kotetsu and Izumo were standing guard in the guard station. Well, Kotetsu is anyways, Izumo is fast asleep. Kotetsu looks up from polishing his kunai to see a tall, young man at about 6 foot with dark red hair walking to the gates, wearing a black and red haori. Kotetsu slaps Izuma on the cheek before scrambling out of the guard station, putting his hand out quickly. Halt! State your name and business. Naruto merely glances at Kotetsu with a small smile gracing his features. They died too early. Flashes of Kotetsu's wrangled face lying dead at the front gate, shielding a now dead Izuma who had bled out went through Naruto's mind, though his face never changes from the small smile. Naruto stops in front of Kotetsu. My name is Raizen Uzumaki, a simple animal enthusiast. I'm here to simply tour Konoha. Also I do have a question for you Shinobi-san. Kotetsu raises an eyebrow in interest. What might that be Uzumaki-san? I would like to inquire as to who is currently in charge of your wonderful village. Kotetsu looked at Naruto and simply raised an eyebrow before shrugging his shoulders. Must be someone originally from a minor village. Especially with that hair. That would be our venerable Hokage, Lord Sarutobi Hiruzen. So Gigi is still Hokage in this time? Thank goodness. That means at the very least the Uchiha massacre hasn't happened. I can still save them. Maybe some of the other clans as well. Who knows? Would you mind taking me to your Hokage then, Shinobi-san? I have need to speak with him about some business ideals. Kotetsu merely shrugs his shoulders before nodding. He gestures for Naruto to follow him. As they walk through Konoha, Naruto takes in the bustling streets around him. It feels so weird being back here again and not having anything burned down to nothing. I won't let any of it happen again. It can happen again. We will save them all Kurama, we have to. That war can happen again. I know young one. Madara and Obito can't be allowed to have that war happen again. They almost succeeded in pulling me out of you. We can't give them a second try. As Naruto and Kurama are talking, they finally reach the Hokage Tower. Well, this is where Lord Hokage is. Just head on up and you should be able to see him right now. With having done his part, Kotetsu starts to walk off back towards the gate, though not before discreetly making sure that there are some Ambu watching the new person. No such thing as being too careful after all. Naruto merely nods his head before he starts to walk up to the Hokage's office. He arrives before the door, and suddenly Naruto feels very nervous. I can't be feeling nervous right now. Have to stay on track. Naruto knocks softly on the old wooden door. I remember when Bachan had to replace these doors every other day due to punching people through them, or when I would just jump through the window instead of using the door. Enter. Comes an old voice from the other side of the door. Naruto opens the door to see his Gigi, though a lot younger, sitting down, just putting some new powder into his pipe. I am told you have something you wish to speak to me about Uzumaki-san. Please explain. Naruto nods his head. Before we get into that, may I ask it just be us two in the room for this discussion? Now Sarutobi Hiruzen is no fool. He recognized that hair for what it was right away. He knows the man in front of him is an Uzumaki. How that is possible is yet to be seen considering Uzushiogakure was destroyed during the Second Shinobi War. For him to detect his Umbu however was not a very good sign. Nonetheless, he nods his head to his hidden Umbu, feeling them disappear. There isn't a person alive besides possibly Inoki who could do him any serious harm, even in his old age. He is named God of Shinobi after all. What is it you wish to speak about now that we are alone? Hiruzen's voice is slightly more serious now. While nobody really posed a threat to the God of Shinobi, it never hurt to be careful. Code Phoenix Lord Hokage. That's when anything Hiruzen thought could be said, was completely blown out of the water, and he immediately stood up, activating the privacy barriers almost instantly. State your name then. If you truly know that code as well as what it entails then I fear I won't like what I hear. Hiruzen says in a grave voice. If the code is a real threat, then this could be a large turning point in this old man's life. Naruto smiles a soft smile at him, one Hiruzen recognizes almost immediately. It's a smile most veteran shinobi smile from the Third Great War. Things got worse then. My name is Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. Rokudame Hokage and commander of the allied shinobi forces of the Fourth Great Shinobi War. Hiruzen feels his breath hitch as he looks at the older version of the young child he considers a grandson that's currently running around in his village with very wide eyes. It's good to see you again, Gigi. Alive at least. The rawness of Naruto's voice gives it away. So he dies then. Obviously not a nice death either. Hiruzen takes a puff from his pipe to calm himself before sitting back down. It is good to see you, Naruto. Even if you are so old now. For you to come back though. Hiruzen notices the grief and sorrow shake through Naruto's body. Hiruzen now knew for sure, whatever war Naruto went through, was of the worst kind. He's too young to have gone through such a war. They all died, Gigi. Every single person on the continent died. Kakashi, Sakura, Sasuke, Ino, they all died. Naruto utters this so softly Hiruzen almost didn't hear him yet, he does. He hears the pain in Naruto's voice. The raw, emotional grief overflowing from the redhead. I came back though to change it all. Hiruzen smiles a small proud smile at the determination in the boy's voice. You must have made a great Hokage, Naruto. Hiruzen nods his head. Indeed you came back, though for now how about you get some rest? You look like you could use it, Naruto. Naruto nods his head. Thankful Hiruzen isn't asking too many questions. Naruto isn't ready to talk about the war he just finished technically barely a few hours ago. Where am I to stay? Naruto asks softly. Hiruzen pulls a bag of money out of his drawer before tossing it to Naruto, along with a jonin jacket. That should be enough for now to at the very least get you settled, Naruto-kun. There should be a small apartment complex next to the Uchiha compound if that will work. As much as I would like to give you the hat, Naruto-kun, for now I think it's probably best if you are a probationary jonin. I'll send someone to be your observer tomorrow. Naruto nods his head in acceptance, already on planning to pay the old man back. He breathes a sigh of relief. He didn't realize he had been holding this whole time. So the Uchiha are still alive then? Thank goodness. Now Hiruzen raises an eyebrow at this but refrains from commenting. Yes, and I am sure there is much more we need to discuss, but for now, I suggest you go and get some rest, Naruto-kun. It is almost dinner time. We can discuss more tomorrow if you like. Oh, before you leave, Naruto-kun, you should go by a different name while here. Otherwise, Naruto nods his head in agreement. The name I gave at the gate was Raizen Uzumaki. It's also what I used to infiltrate Oto and Kiri. Hiruzen simply gapes before smiling and shaking his head in amusement. Who knew you would make a good spy, Naruto? Hiruzen nods in acceptance of the name, writing out the necessary paperwork to instate Naruto as a jonin, who is now Raizen Uzumaki, before motioning Naruto out of his office. Naruto merely nods his head before quietly leaving the office, leaving Hiruzen alone in the office. What changes will you bring about now that you are back, Naruto-kun? Naruto slowly walks down the road, his black leather haori slowly billowing behind him from the small gust of wind surrounding Naruto. As Naruto is walking, he feels a very familiar chakra signature to his left. Turning, he notices something that is a complete shock to him. Itachi is a girl, not a bad-looking girl either, kit long black hair and smooth legs. Naruto mentally slaps the perverted fox. Stupid Arobaka fox. That's Itachi. Wait, would that even make me gay if I was to try and hit on him, her? Kurama shrugs from within the seal. Naruto shakes his head to clear it of any thoughts before walking up to the girl. Hi, excuse me? Itachi turns and Naruto almost gets a nosebleed from how gorgeous she is. Oh dear Kami. Meanwhile, Itachi was subtly sizing Naruto up as well. Red hair of that color is certainly rare. Can I help you, Reian Uzumaki? Itachi nods her head. And actually yes, you can. The Hokage informed me there's a small apartment near the Uchiha compound currently for sale that he said I could purchase. I was wondering if you could possibly take me there? Itachi simply nods her head. She turns around and pays for the food at the market stall she was at before she motions for Naruto to follow her. As Itachi and Naruto walk towards the apartment, weaving in and out of the market rush, Naruto can't stop thinking about one thing. I never thought of the possibility that Itachi could even be a girl. The Uchiha heiress also seems to have the same level of skill, if not more so than your Uchiha heir did in your timeline kit. Now that Naruto thought about it, Kurama was right. He could sense the amount of chakra coming from Itachi, while nowhere even remotely close to his reserves. Thanks to his Uzumaki lineage and having Kurama inside him, her chakra was a very decent amount. Finally, they arrived at the small apartment, what seemed to actually be the neighboring building of the Uchiha compound. Thank you, I never caught your name. It's Uchiha Itachi, and you're welcome, Uzumaki-kun. I hope we see each other in the future. With that, Itachi walked into her clan's compound, thoughts swirling in her head about the quiet, redhead shinobi she just met. Once Naruto had bought the apartment from the landlord, who was a greedy little old man who was way too thoroughly pleased that Naruto bought the apartment instead of renting. He walks inside to see it was completely bare, save the small kitchen, a small kotatsu as well as a bed in the corner. There are 2 windows, one overlooking the street, the other peering directly into the Uchiha compound. Most people in this time probably don't want to live so close to the police force. As Naruto walks about his small apartment, he starts to chakra draw a myriad of seals onto the walls. From privacy seals to barrier seals to security seals. After about an hour of drawing several high-level matrices, Naruto starts to familiarize himself with the kitchen, pulling some fresh vegetables from a fridge scroll he keeps handy. My apartment is probably the most protected place in Konoha now. I doubt even Ero-sensei could decipher these seals. A knock on his door pauses his cooking. Naruto feels for the chakra of the person at the door, getting a vague feeling of familiarity to the chakra. It's not Hokage Jiji, and I don't exactly know anybody else in this timeline yet. Naruto slowly pulls a kunai from his pouch, before opening the door with some chakra strings. The old wooden door swings open on its hinges, revealing a lot younger version of Gecko Hate. Hate raises an eyebrow, seeing Naruto standing at the kitchen, now back to cooking. Hi. I'm Gecko Hate, your neighbor in the apartment next door. May I come in? Naruto shrugs his shoulders and gestures for Hate to enter. He does so and Naruto closes the door behind him with the chakra strings. Naruto wills a shadow clone into existence, sending the clone to make some 4-leaf tea from the Kumo in his time. I'm Raizen Uzumaki, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've started some tea, it'll be ready shortly. Feel free to sit at the kotatsu. Hate nods gratefully as both Naruto and himself sit at the kotatsu. How are you enjoying Konoha so far? No troubles, I hope? Naruto nods his head at this. It has been a pleasant welcome so far, yes. I barely arrived a couple hours ago so I can't quite yet make an accurate judgment, but so far I do like it here. Hate smiles at Naruto. I'm glad you're finding Konoha enjoyable. As the two talk, Naruto's clone brings the tea over before giving a quick glare at Naruto, then disappearing. Hate takes a sip before giving a surprised, yet thoroughly pleased look at the tea. Do you make a hobby of knowing tea, Uzumaki-san? Naruto waves him off, while nodding his head. Please, Raizen will do just fine, and I consider myself a small tea enthusiast is all. It's one of the few hobbies I can enjoy as a shinobi that doesn't require violence. Hate nods his head in complete agreement, already feeling a sense of friendship and ease coming from the redhead. You can call me Hate then. It's what all my friends call me. Naruto nods his head. Hate can't put a finger to it, but the redhead gives off a feeling of security and quietness that Hate appreciates. He finishes his tea, before getting up from the kotatsu. I'll excuse myself for the evening, Raizen. I'm glad I got to know you. Perhaps I will see you tomorrow? Naruto can tell that Hate is looking for a new friend, and is more than happy to oblige. If he recalls correctly, Hate has that cough that his time Sakura made a cure for. I'll have to look into that cure again. Hate was formidable with the sword before he died. Having him around could help nurture new swordsmen. I'm sure I will be available tomorrow if you wish for some company. Hate gives Naruto a smile, walking out while having a small coughing fit. After Hate leaves, Naruto stays up a bit, reading some scrolls on jutsu theory he took from his timeline before heading to bed. Tomorrow is going to prove interesting. Chapter 2. Naruto awoke from his small bed in the corner, blinking the sleep out of his eyes. Blearily, he sits up on the small mattress, before padding into the kitchen. Activating a small storage seal on his thumb, Naruto pulls out some eggs and other vegetables, fully intent on making ramen. No matter the timeline, ramen would always be the best food. You awake in there, Kurama? The only answer Naruto gets is a low growl of annoyance from within the seal. Naruto's sweat drops at that while he gets to work making his ramen. I should go see Hokage Gigi after some breakfast. We need to make a plan to stop Madara and Obito from somehow taking over the entire world. That would probably be for the best kit. As of now, we don't exactly even know if Obito is fully healed from his injury, nor where Madara is either. Hell, the old bat could still be in his half-dead state Obito said he found him in. Naruto sits down at the kotatsu with his ramen. With a small itadakimasu, Naruto begins to dig into the ramen. Naruto wills a couple shadow clones into existence. I want you guys to start gathering information, as well as some money. I need to pay Gigi back somewhat soon. Any information you find is good for now, especially information on bloodlines and clans. The clones nod at Naruto before leaping out the window. I guess some reckless habits will never die off. The day you aren't a reckless shinobi Naruto is the day Shikaka beats me at poker. Naruto stifles a laugh, before starting to finish his ramen. Looking at the clock on the wall, Naruto puts his plate away in the sink. Naruto moves about his small apartment, putting some new clothes on his clones bought him yesterday. A long black sleeve shirt with some chain armor to go underneath, dark blue shinobi pants and some black sandals as well. With it being about 7 a.m. or so, Gigi should have gotten to his office by now. Picking his haori up from the floor and putting it on, Naruto leaves his apartment. Good morning, Raizen. Naruto glances up from locking his door to see Hate exiting his apartment, with a purplet Naruto distinctly recognizes. I don't think I ever saw Yugogo without her mask off in all honesty. Naruto gives a small wave to the couple. Yugogo elbows Hate in the gut. Well, are you going to introduce me to your new neighbor, Hai-kun? Hate rolls his eyes before gesturing towards Naruto. Uzumaki Raizen-san, this is my wonderful girlfriend, Yuzuki Yugogo. Naruto inclines his head in greeting. It's always a pleasure to meet new people. You have a wonderful boyfriend, Yuzuki-san. Yugogo beams a megawatt smile at Naruto. Where are you headed so early, Uzumaki-san? To the Hokage's office. Myself and Lord Third have some things that we need to discuss still from yesterday. The couple nods at Naruto, before bidding him farewell, with promises of seeing him later and a million more coughs from Hate. Naruto merely shakes his head. Yugogo laid on the chakra spike, her body fully impaled protecting Naruto. Blood runs from beneath her mask. It's in the past, Kit. That's why we are here. To save them all. Naruto merely nods his head, determination filling him. Hokage's office. Naruto slowly closes the door behind him, ghosting across the floor to a corner as to try and not let Hiruzen and the other person in the room notice his presence. Asuma, I understand you have reservations over watching a new Jonin, however you are the one I feel is best for the task. It's either I give him to you or Kakashi. I would rather not bog him down with his lateness. Naruto can feel the glare being leveled at Hiruzen. It's not that, father. It's that it's going to take time away from Kurenai. You know how much I love her. The less time I spend with her, the more angry I will become. Naruto can feel the pressure in the room drop from Hiruzen, though Naruto is hardly affected. Stretching his chakra out, Naruto feels Itachi, as well as a Nara he doesn't know in the corners of the office. So Itachi-chan is Umbu in this timeline still, eh? Interesting. You will be his observer, Asuma, regardless of your personal time for things. I can't let this one go without an observer. Naruto can hear the note firm of finality in the old man's voice. The voice of the god of shinobi. Naruto chooses that exact time to step out of the shadows, startling every single other person within the room. Hiruzen is the first to regain his composure, though Naruto is silently chuckling at being able to avoid him, and Itachi. Ah, Raizen-kun. You are here awfully early this morning, aren't you? To anybody else, it was just asked as a normal question. Naruto knew better though, there is an underlying sense of worry in the question from his Gigi. Yes, I felt it prudent to bring some things up from our discussion yesterday. Hiruzen merely nods his head. Before we get to that, my son Sarutobi Asuma. Asuma, this is Uzumaki Raizen, the one you will be observing. Asuma gives Naruto a respectful nod, no doubt possibly sizing him up for a later spar or something. Naruto gives the younger-looking Asuma a small bow. I shall be in your care then, Sarutobi-san. Naruto gets out as friendly as possible. I'll wait outside, try not to take too long with my father, will you? Naruto merely nods as Asuma leaves the room. Hiruzen gestures for Itachi and Nara to leave the room, raising the privacy barriers once they are gone. It's probably time you knew some of the things that happened, or is it will happen? Gigi, it's nothing good. Sarutobi takes a puff from his pipe, before emptying it into a nearby ash bowl. So be it then. Let me pose a question first, however. When does everything start to spiral downhill? Naruto pauses at that. How old is my younger version of myself? He is in his last year of the academy. Why? Naruto lets out a sigh of relief at that. That's good. The only thing that really happens of significance is the bloody civil war of the mist, though it was hard to tell exactly when that happened. The information from my time was minimal at best by the end of the war. Other than that, the Chunin exams is where everything starts to go downhill quite quickly, though my younger counterpart might end up getting into some trouble. Now it's Hiruzen's turn to raise an eyebrow. The hidden mist have been slowly isolating themselves, but Yagura is a kind Kage from what I have been told. The clans do support him as well. Naruto goes wide-eyed at this. Kurama? Thoughts? If the hidden mist hasn't killed off their clans yet, this is an opportunity you can't miss, Kit. Some of those clans like the Yuki or Kagaya could be super helpful during the war. Hiruzen coughs into his hands, startling Naruto out of his conversation with Kurama. Oh, sorry, Gigi. I was talking to Kurama. Wait, you wouldn't know who that is? That's Kyubi's name, though he hates being called the Kyubi. Anyways, in my time, Yagura hunted down any clan with a bloodline because Tobi was controlling him, who we think is Obito Uchiha. Isn't Obito Uchiha the one who died on Kakashi's mission to save his teammate, Rin? I nod my head then freeze. Rin is alive? Hiruzen nods his head. Naruto goes to say something, but before he can, a shinobi comes sprinting through the door. Whatever has this man here, must be an emergency considering the barriers were up. Lord Hokage, it's urgent news from one of your spies. Hiruzen nods gravely, motioning for the Chunin to continue. Kusa is making a move. 3 Jonin as well as a young woman with red hair are moving into what seems to be Wave Country, though their current trajectory puts them on a random island off the coast of Wave. Uzushiogakure. What could Kusa want with Uzushio? That's what I want to know, though if they have a young woman with red hair with them then, Karen. Naruto turns to Hiruzen quickly. His usual calm demeanor gone in favor of possibly saving some of his family, even if he barely knows them. Hiruzen notices his change as well. I think I might know the girl, Lord Hokage. Hiruzen raises an eyebrow. Naruto discreetly points to his hair, just as Asuma walks in. Hiruzen's eyes go wide for several seconds, his mouth half open from him about to take a puff from his wooden pipe. After those seconds, Hiruzen clamps his mouth shut. Hiruzen brings a steely gaze about the room. Raizen, I'm sorry but I will have to send you and my son out on a mission, as well as some others. Karyu! An old woman comes scrambling into the room. Send for Hate and Yugo at once. Tell them it's urgent. She nods before scrambling out of the office. After about 20 minutes of waiting or so, Hate and Yugo both come sprinting into the room, out of breath and in very nice clothes. They must have been on a date. Hate Yugo. I'm sorry but this mission requires experience, and you two are the only ones not on a mission that I can send to help my son and Raizen-kun here. They nod gravely, not asking any questions. If their Lord Hokage thought the mission was that important, then they were in no right to complain. I am giving you for the mission of beating Kusa to Uzushiogakure. They just sent 3 Jonin and a young girl we don't know there. If they are going after the ruins, that could mean they really are trying to become a major power. Asuma will be in command, with Raizen-kun here as a second in command, considering those are your home's ruins. Everyone nods at Hiruzen seriously. You 3, meet me at the gate in 15 minutes. Pack for at least a month-long journey. I'm not sure how we will be getting to the island. That will be figured out once we reach the coast of Wave Country. Yugo and Hade dash out of the office, rushing to their home to go and gather their supplies. Naruto gets up from his chair, giving a nod to Hiruzen. We can talk more after my mission, Lord Hokage. Hiruzen nods, as Naruto leaves his office with Asuma in tow. I have my supplies already sealed inside of seals on my body, so I am ready to leave whenever. Asuma nods in appreciation. Few ninjutsu practitioners are very useful to have around. I'll meet you at the gate, Raizen-kun. Naruto nods his head, taking off in the direction of the gate. Konoha main gate. 15 minutes later, Asuma, Naruto, Yugo and Hate all stood at the gate. Naruto is wearing a dark green shirt with his normal dark red leather haori, some black shinobi pants and normal wooden sandals. The other three are wearing the standard Jonin Konoha uniform. Alright you three, before we get going, I think it's best if Uzumaki-san takes over and gives us a briefing of where we might be heading to. Asuma pulls out a cigarette, lighting it casually as he finishes his little speech. Naruto nods his head, his hair falling over his eyes slightly as he does so. Uzushiogakure is a decently sized island off the coast of wave and water country. About 250 miles to be exact. Most Uzushio shinobi can water walk that distance without being tired, however I am going to go out on a limb and say none of you three can. They all nod their heads. Fantastic. Well, this is going to be very difficult then, to say the least. Since that is the case, our only option is going to be to find a boat and wave somewhere, since I doubt any of us want to go into water country at the moment. Naruto gets a chorus of nods in agreement. Naruto pulls out 3 pieces of sealing paper. This is one of my original seals. Apply a little bit of chakra and it will stick onto your clothing. By pushing chakra into it, I can dimension step to your position at any given time. They all nod as they apply the seals to their clothes. Asuma steps forward again. Is this anything like the fourth jutsu by chance? Hate asks in curiosity. Naruto shakes his head. Same concept but vastly different. While his is mainly space-time techniques, mine revolves more around using dimension pockets. Different Fuinjutsu areas. Hate just nods in acceptance. Well, you heard Uzumaki-san. We will have to find a boat and wave to take us to the island. Let's get moving. With that, the 4 shinobi took off into the forest at a fast pace. Land of Waves. As Naruto and company sprint through the Land of Waves, Naruto takes in the scenery while stretching his sensory ability out around him. The group is in diamond formation, with Asuma leading and Naruto in the back. Hate and Yukago on the left and right respectively. It's been some time since I have been to Wave. At least a non-destroyed Wave. Flashback. Screams of pain and agony raced through Naruto's ears as he blocked another kunai with his own blood-stained kunai. Naruto sweeps his legs on the Zetsu clone in front of him. That's when he hears the distinct sound of reanimation jutsu. Fuck. Naruto lets out a curse as Sasuke glances over at him, swinging the Kusanagi through 3 clones at once, dispelling them. That's when they see them. Jiraiya and Darui, standing on top of a hill. With black eyes. Shit! I thought Erosenin's body was never found. Damn it all! Sasuke just shrugs as he activates his Rinnegan in his left eye, absorbing the chakra of the Zetsu around him. Naruto lashes out in his flying Crimson Thunder Taijutsu, obliterating 5 other clones in the matter of a single kick. Jiraiya and Darui fly into the battlefield, Naruto and Sasuke meeting them head-on. Eventually it's just the 4 of them left standing, with Jiraiya giving Naruto a small, sad smile. Naruto runs through hand seals quickly, before activating his jutsu. Sealing Arts, Soul Devastation Revival. The ground shakes beneath them as explosions go off around them from tags that never detonated as the chakra in the air is absorbed, with Jiraiya and Darui's souls being sucked out of the reanimated bodies. The last thing Naruto sees from Jiraiya's body's tears flowing out of his eyes. Naruto feels his own tears start to flow as well. Flashback end. The 4 shinobi come to the very coast of Wave Country, standing on a dock. Tens of fishermen are out and about in the early morning. Asuma, I'll take a look around and see if I can't procure a boat ride for us. Otherwise we will have to think of something else. Asuma nods his head in agreement, before his stomach rumbles loudly. He mutters something about needing breakfast as he trudges along the pier, looking for some food. Naruto walks to where all of the boats are lined up, seeing an old man laying in one of the boats, his hat covering his eyes and nose. Naruto gently coughs into his hand, the old man waking up instantly. He glances up and sees Naruto standing there politely, having not yet approached his boat out of respect. The old man's eyes flash with approval. He gives Naruto a smile. The name is Gentaro. How can I help you, Shinobi-san? Naruto unseals some eggs and some cash, handing them to the old man. Myself and 3 others need passage to Uzushiogakure, Gentaro-san. My name is Uzumaki Raizen. It's a pleasure to meet you. The old man raises an eyebrow. Another Uzumaki needing passage to their ruined home? Very well, your clan was good to us when they were alive. It was a shame they were destroyed during the Second War. I will take you and your friends to Uzushio. I would be careful though, for others already asked for passage there as well. Naruto nods his head, before pushing his chakra out in 3 intervals. Soon, the other 3 are on the boat. Gentaro nods at them. Let's get going while the tide is still flowing out. Get in. With that, Naruto clambers on. The group slowly sets off from the pier, their destination Uzushiogakure. Karen, I hope I make it in time in this timeline, if it really is you. I swear, you will have a good life this time around. Everyone will. I'm here to help if you need me, Kit, though knowing you, you probably won't need my help in the slightest. Naruto simply nods his head in response to his furry brother as the boat casts off from the dock, headed towards Uzushio. 250 nautical miles later, Naruto and the others reached the desolate island of Uzushio. Naruto already expected what the group saw, though nobody else did. Decaying bodies and skeletons covered the ruined area, with an aura of death coming from the village about 10 miles into the island itself. As the group approached the village itself, they took in the mass destruction. Charred bodies skewed about the village, blackened bits of building all about as well, Various body parts laid about in buildings and on the street, as well as blackened intestines and other unrecognizable body parts. It all reminded Naruto of the Fourth War, so he wasn't all that affected really. The other three, however, had pale faces. What could have possibly done this? Yugago whispered into the empty, frigid air. Naruto closes his eyes, stretching his chakra sensory abilities out over the island. Stone, Kusa and Kiri all invaded Uzushio due to them being sealing masters. Hate answered, though his voice was shaken as well. There, on the north side of the island. Though there are more than the 4 signatures I was expecting, the other 2 are Uzumaki as well. It's impossible to miss my clan's chakra signature anywhere. The spy's intel was off. Fuck. Asuma, there are others on the north side of the island. Though there are more than 4 of them, Naruto let his voice trail off as the others digested the information. Well, we have nothing else to lose. We need to go see what it is Kusa wants with this desolate place. Asuma lights a cigarette in between speaking, puffing some more smoke out. Naruto and the other 2 nod, Naruto taking point as the 4 of them head to the north side of the island. North side of Uzushiogakure. As the 4 of them creep over the small ridge, Naruto stretches his chakra sensory out. They are down there all right. As they all crest the top of the ridge, Naruto notices 2 of the Jonin are keeping watch as the 3rd Jonin cracks his whip against the dirty rags of the 3 small children, as they search the floor and mud for something. Naruto notices the chains. The fucking chains. They chained the kids together. The sick fucks. Yugago all but bites out in a low tone. Hate almost stands up suddenly, before he is pulled back down by Yugago. Asuma glances over at Naruto, before slowly shifting his position so he is next to Naruto. Raizen-san, do you have anything that could help at least subdue 1 or 2 of the Jonin down there? Naruto closes his eyes, feeling for the reserves of the Jonin beneath them. For Jonin, they have relatively small reserves, almost on par as what I had when I was a genin. Naruto opens his eyes and nods at Asuma. I have a barrier that can slowly suck their chakra from them, not that they have much. Those 3 have Chunin reserves at best. No wonder Kusa is a minor village. Their shinobi are incompetent fools. Naruto growls in a low animalistic voice. Asuma nods, gesturing for the 4 of them to huddle up. Okay, here's how we do this. Yugago, Hate. You 2 engage in close combat. Your kenjutsu will likely overpower the fools. Raizen-san will use a barrier to drain them of chakra. I'll support you 2 with wind jutsu if need be. They all nod in agreement. There's no place for argument on the battlefield after all. Naruto starts to slowly chakra draw in the air, with Asuma staring with wide eyes for a moment before focusing back on the Jonin down below. Yugago and Hate both have their swords semi-drawn, waiting for Asuma's signal. Naruto finishes his last stroke, then flips through hand seals before landing on the bird seal. Uzumaki Sealing Arts, Chakra Soul Collector Barrier. Naruto whispers the ceiling into the frigid fog around them as a light blue barrier hums into existence. The Jonin down below suddenly become active as they feel their chakra being pulled from them painfully. They cry out in pain, making the children all huddle close together away from them. Asuma nods, flipping through hand seals. Wind style, wind bullet. Asuma shoots the wind bullet at the furthest Jonin, with Hate and Yugago engaging the other 2. The furthest Jonin gets hit by the wind bullet, and he ends up flying back some feet with a large bruise on his chest. Metal on metal clash against each other as sparks fly throughout the battlefield. Asuma pulls his trench knives out, coating them in wind chakra and joining in on the fray. He double teams one of the Jonins who by now is looking as pale as a ghost from chakra exhaustion. Yugago manages to duck inside the man's guard, disarming his knife and slamming the hilt of her sword into his jaw, knocking him out cold. Hate meanwhile is dancing around the second Jonin. Using his kenjutsu, Hate has already disarmed the man of his kunai, forcing the man to try and defend with his metal arm guards. Hate sweeps down, bringing his sword and slashing the man's calves, slicing through the tendons. The man falls down onto the mud, where Hate finishes him with a clean stab through the man's heart. The third Jonin tries to cast the Earth-style mud wall, though thanks to severe chakra exhaustion the Jonin ends up collapsing after finishing his hand seals. That's when a loud eruption explodes from near Asuma. Everyone glances over to see large, glowing chains floating out of Karen's back, who is completely terrified like the other 2 children are. The chains move wildly, narrowly missing Asuma and Hate. Asuma brings his trench knives up to defend himself, deflecting one of the chains barely. Asuma looks at his knives and sees they almost shattered in half from one hit. A quick shit escapes Naruto's mouth as he races down to the clearing. Flying through hand seals, Naruto wills his own chains into existence, controlling them to subdue Karen's chains. After Naruto is sure her chains won't be moving thanks to his, he dashes to Karen. He stops a foot in front of her, keeping his hands up the entire time. Hey, it's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you, alright? Naruto says in his most soothing voice, the voice he used to help wounded soldiers at night during the war. There are distinct tears rolling down the young Karen's dirty, mud-covered face. Karen's chains try to move, though not as much as she looks up at Naruto, with somewhat fear-filled eyes. My name's Uzumaki Raizen, what are your names, you 3? Eyes fly open wide as the 3 kids stare at Naruto. Uzumaki Karen, Uzumaki Kin, Uzumaki Tayuya. They all 3 say at the same time in small, timid voices. Are you three sisters? They nod as they dash into Naruto's arms, the only family they have left besides themselves. The chakra chains slowly recede from Karen's back as she calms down from her panic attack. He runs soothing hands down their backs, sitting there with them for a few minutes. Pain, racked sobs tear through each of them as the realization of freedom overwhelms them. Asuma, as well as Hate and Yugugo, walk over to where Naruto is with the three sisters, with Asuma dragging the two unconscious Jonin by their hair through the mud. Raizen-san, do you know these three by chance? Naruto shakes his head, his hair flying about a bit as he can feel his Haori starting to grow damp. No, I don't. But they are family. Family never abandons each other, no matter what. Naruto whispers into the empty fog around them, his grip slowly becoming more protective of the three already. The other three give small smiles at Naruto. I won't let anything happen to you three. How would you three like to come home with me? Naruto asks softly. The three girls don't respond, but he can feel them nod as more tears, happy ones Naruto presumes, start to flow freely once more. A fierce will runs through Naruto and fills him with determination, like an older brother or father gets protective of his family. Naruto pulls the three in tighter to him. Never again. I'll make sure this time, you three have a good life at the very least. Chapter 3. As the sleet starts to fall down more heavily from the cloudy sky, Naruto can feel the fog thicken around his body, making it even more difficult to see than it already was. The aftermath of the small skirmish merely added to the already present heavy feeling of death and sorrow holding a tight grip over the ruined island. The only reason I am not affected is thanks to the war. I feel bad for the rest of the group. I don't believe they had much of a chance to participate in the third war, so they don't know this feeling at all. Though I am slightly surprised Yugugo is affected, considering she is in Anbu after all. Naruto walks into the middle of the clearing, where his chains are currently holding down the rather plain-looking Jonin they had captured from the fight. Now, there are a couple of ways we can do this. Either you can tell me exactly what I want to know right now and I don't hurt you, or you refuse and I get to have some fun that I haven't had in a long time. Naruto leans his face in close to the Jonin as he slowly directs his killing intent towards the Jonin, mixing Kurama's in with his as well. The Jonin starts to sweat profusely from all of the killing intent being leveled at him, forming a large puddle beneath him. Very well then. Naruto stands up and walks over to the others who are standing on the shore, watching the three sisters play in the water. Keep the kids over here please you three. Also, no matter what you hear, do not look back over here until I come get you. You won't like what you see in the slightest. Asuma nods as Hate and Yugugo merely shrug their shoulders while watching the kids. Naruto nods his head before he turns back towards the Jonin. Naruto breathes in, letting himself merge with Kurama. He closes his eyes as Kurama circulates his chakra through him. Naruto slowly opens his eyes as he feels a red-hot fire burn throughout his body. As the two of them merge their chakra fully, he can feel the fire start to course through his veins, rejuvenating him as well as making him feel damn near invincible. His hair starts to slowly turn a brighter red and move into spikes from where it usually lays down. He can feel his canines grow longer from within his mouth, the sensation almost tickling him in a way. His whisker marks grow slightly longer as well as becoming more dark, becoming a prominent feature on his face. I always feel so at home and comfortable when we merge, my furry brother. The last time we merged like this, we tore through millions of Zetsu clones like they were ramen, before killing Zetsu himself. Are you ready to have some more fun, Kurama? Kurama smirks from within the seal, showing off his own canines. Sure am, Kit. Let's get to feasting, shall we? Naruto grins like a hunter stalking his prey in the wild. Naruto walks over to the Jonin who is now shaking in fear on the ground, the smell of piss reeking from beneath him. Now, Naruto growls, why were you here with the three Uzumaki kids? What exactly are you looking for? The Jonin shakes his head, though Naruto can practically smell the fear flowing off the man like the waves hitting the shore of Uzushio. Naruto brings his claws next to the man's leg, digging into the large artery on his leg. Blood spurts out like a fountain from the wound as Naruto digs deeper, his smile never leaving his face. The Jonin screams out in sheer agony, the shriek resounding throughout the area. Naruto can feel Asuma and the others shaking, but they don't look back. Tell me. Why are you scum here? The Jonin shakes his head again, even as he continues to scream. Naruto takes his other hand and snaps the man's foot, before Naruto proceeds to break every single bone inside the foot as well. The Jonin howls in even more pain. Naruto moves one of his chains to pierce the top of the foot as well, digging the bone out of the foot so it's now protruding outside the skin. Naruto continues to pull the bones out until the foot is just muscle and tendon, flopping about as blood pours out of the wound. Naruto taps the Jonin's neck, making the Jonin instantly joke awake before being able to pass out from blood loss. I will keep you awake in different ways as I continue to torture you. You will tell me what I want eventually. Naruto doesn't even bother asking the question again as he lets the Jonin writhe in pain on the ground, blood practically covering the both of them. Naruto takes a claw and slowly scratches at the Jonin's eyeball, leaving little blood marks along his eyeball. The Jonin throws up on the ground as blood continues to pour out of the man. Naruto uses the Jonin's blood as a chakra converter and proceeds to draw a level 8 blood transfusion seal on the Jonin. The seal I am going to put on you will make sure your body doesn't die from blood loss. Instead it will eventually start to seep bone marrow as a substitute for blood. The Jonin shakes in absolute terror, shit falling out of the Jonin's pants and onto the ground. Naruto leans in close to the Jonin's face. Naruto bares his canines at the Jonin. You will eventually die from not having any bones in your body, or from the small infection in your eye I just placed. I will continue to add more pain to you than I have been already until you answer the question. Why are you here? What exactly is Kusa planning? The Jonin gives out a small whimper of pain. Naruto can easily tell the Jonin is almost at wit's end, but isn't ready to give in just yet. Naruto smirks. Kurama, want to have some fun as well? A low growl comes from within the seal as Naruto switches over to Kurama. Listen here, you pathetic excuse for a garbage mortal. I am going to enjoy eating the flesh off your bones, then drinking your bone marrow like it's wine from Kumo, you sack of disease-ridden fleas. Time to feast. Kurama goes in and bites the other eyeball out of the Jonin, making the man scream in sheer agony as he watches the eyeball get chewed up in Kurama's mouth before Kurama spits it back in the Jonin's face. The eyeball's slush hits the other eye and slides down the Jonin's face, who at this point is shaking so terribly that Naruto is unsure if the man might even have some kind of illness. Okay. I'll talk, just please stop. The Jonin screams out between racked sobs. Naruto switches back over and kneels in front of the Jonin. Talk. Naruto growls out, moving his finger back into the wound on the man's leg. The Jonin screams as white bone marrow seeps out of the wound. Our leader told us he heard a rumor from one of his informants that there is a tailed beast sitting in the ruins of Uzushiogakure somewhere, as well as some ancient weapons and sealing scrolls. He told us to take the 3 kids because they could help unlock traps and other things. That's all I know, I swear. The Jonin screams as bone marrow starts to seep out of the empty eye socket as well. The Jonin throws up again in front of Naruto as he simply just nods to the man's words. Naruto takes a sword from one of his seals and knocks the man out cold with the hilt before resealing the sword. The ancient scrolls could be useful. Maybe Kasan's sword is still here as well? As for the tailed beast, Kurama? Thoughts? The only possible one of my siblings that might not be sealed that I could think of would be Sanbai-chan. That would mean Deidara isn't a Jinchuriki, which could be why there hasn't been a civil war, but who knows, in all honesty. I don't sense any Biju chakra in the immediate area either, neither do I, which is why I am confused. It could be sealed in one of the underground vaults. Naruto stands up from in front of the Jonin, letting Kurama go back into the seal to presumably nap like the lazy fox he is until he is needed again. Naruto walks over to the group, covered in blood. A simple absorption seal, however, takes away all the blood into the small vacuum, leaving Naruto all clean again. Kusa is here because there are some scrolls and weapons they are looking for which are probably in the underground vault somewhere. Asuma hears the slight hesitation in Naruto's voice and speaks up. What else are you not mentioning, Raizen-san? Naruto simply sighs and lowers his shoulders. The Jonin also said that their leader thinks there is a free-tailed beast here for the taking. My guess is he was going to try and seal it into one of those 3 over there. Naruto jerks his thumb towards the 3 sisters. Asuma nods in understanding. Since they are Uzumaki and our children, it makes sense, though I hate to look at your clan like that, Raizen-san. Asuma continues to light a cigarette as Yugago finishes her statement before it's slapped out of his fingers by Yugago. There are children around, Asuma. Don't make me tell Tsum you're smoking on a mission again. Asuma gulps audibly as Naruto gives out a low chuckle in response. Hate almost said something before he starts coughing, a lot more than usual. It gets to the point of his coughing where Yugago lays him down on the sand, using a bag as a pillow for him. Naruto frowns. Kurama, HM? What is it, Kit? Do me a favor, would you? Bring up the medical procedure Sakura-chan made back in my time to help cure that cough. Kurama opens one eye from within the seal and sees Hate almost somewhat half dead on the ground and Yugago fussing over him like crazy, then nods. I'll see if I can find it in the library of memories in your head, Kit. Finish your mission. With that, Kurama pads off to a narrow yet extremely long line of shelves in Naruto's head. Naruto sighs yet nods his head and thanks mentally to his furry brother before starting to pay attention to the outside world once again. Naruto looks at Asuma. I'm assuming it will just be you and me continuing the mission, I presume. Asuma nods in mock sadness at not being able to smoke, yet he knows better than to upset his girlfriend. Naruto gives a grim smile to Asuma. I'll take a look around, see what I can find. If I am correct, there should be a trap door that leads to one of the underground vaults here somewhere. Asuma nods in understanding as Naruto walks off. As Naruto is standing in the middle of the clearing, he slowly starts to draw a door detection seal. If I make the seal at least a level 6 door detection, with a level 7 chakra finder seal as well, I should in theory find the door in no time. After about 15 minutes or so of drawing the seal, Naruto applies his chakra-drawn seal to the ground. Naruto flares his chakra a tiny bit, activating the seal. About 50 feet to Naruto's right, a blue outline appears in the sand. Found it. Naruto walks over to the door, kneeling down in front of it in the muddy sand. Naruto starts to draw a level 8 trap detection seal on the door, as well using his own blood mixed into the seal as well. Using my blood should hopefully disarm any traps considering I am technically the prince of this village thanks to Kazan. After waiting a couple of minutes, Naruto activates the seal. A loud click can be heard from within as the trap door groans open on what's obviously very rusty hinges. It swings open upwards, almost smacking Naruto in the jaw in the process. Naruto peers down into the door, just to see pearl white floors and walls that are in pristine condition. Must have some kind of preservation seals on them. Which means I could have come back to these in my timeline possibly as well. Oh well, I'm here now, that's all that matters truly. Asuma-san. Naruto yells over to Asuma, waving for him to come over. Asuma walks over to Naruto, and sees him standing in front of the trap door. He peers inside and sees the same pearl white walls Naruto did. There are no more traps either. I should have disabled all of them with my seal. Speaking of, I should deactivate the seals I have out here. With that said, Naruto cuts off his chakra to the seals, completely deactivating them. Any idea of what could be down there, Raizen-san? Naruto simply shakes his head no. Most of the stuff in Uzushio should have been looted already. The only things left are more than likely really high level or royal stuff in all honesty. Maybe even some forbidden stuff. It's hard to know. I was too young to ever see anything in all honesty. Even though my parents could be considered royalty. Asuma nods in understanding. So essentially, we are walking into a complete unknown with a possible Biju down there if the Kusa leader's informat is to be trusted at all. Naruto nods his head with a megawatt smile on his face. Asuma sighs in annoyance while pinching the bridge of his nose. Well, we should discuss with the others before we do anything regarding this. Who knows how Hate will be in the next couple hours. He may have to go back to Konoha. Asuma's face turned slightly darker as he finished his sentence. Naruto merely shrugs in reply, not caring one way or another. It's been a present thing for quite some time, Asuma. You have nothing to worry about from me. Not sure how those three or young Naruto would feel if you said that, however. Asuma nods. The two of them reach Hate and Yugogo, where Hate is finally sitting up and drinking some water. How are you feeling, Hate-san? Naruto asks with some wariness in his voice. Hate merely shrugs his shoulders. I have lived with it my whole life and not a single person can help me truthfully, not even Tsunade-sama could help me. Hate shrugs it off nonchalantly. Naruto gives Hate a cursory once-over before making his decision. Hate-san, I think you and Yuzuki-san should more than likely leave and take those three kids back to Konoha. Asuma and myself are unsure as to what we may find. There are things in Uzushio that are very lethal. Naruto says in what he hopes is a somewhat placating tone. Hate is a great swordsman, same with Yugogo. I just can't risk not being able to take something back with me to Konoha when we leave if I have to protect them. They are good friends and comrades, but I have to get ready for Madara. Don't get tunnel vision on me now, Kit. Remember, you came back to protect everyone, not focus on killing Madara. You're right, of course, Kurama. I just am really worried about Madara in all honesty. Kurama nods from within the seal, putting his head back on his paws as he continues to take a nap. Lazy fox. What do you think, Asuma Taishu? Yugogo asks in resignation. Yugogo loves her boyfriend, she really does, but when he has to leave high-level missions it sucks in all honesty. Asuma merely closes his eyes and thinks for a minute, before glancing over to Naruto. You sure you have no idea what could possibly be down there, Raizen-san? Naruto simply gives Asuma a sad smile. The only thing I can tell you is that it can either be really fucking dangerous, like could easily kill Jiraiya or Lord Hokage, or will be a library full of old dusty scrolls on Fuinjutsu. Asuma barks out a short laugh. Fair enough, I suppose. Alright, Yugogo and Hate take the kids and head back. Someone needs to tell Lord Hokage what we found out anyways, Asuma says with an air of authority. The couple simply nod their heads in complete understanding, before going about and starting to pack some things out they set up for camp. Asuma gestures towards the trapdoor, leading Naruto over to it. Once the two are standing at the trapdoor, they glance over to where Yugogo and Hate are, gathering the kids. Karen bolts from the couple, sprinting over to Naruto and clutching his leg. Naruto curses in his mind, with extreme violence. Karen has tears filling her eyes. Naruto turns around to face the child, running hands through her hair as he pulls her off his leg and into a small hug as he gets down on one knee in the mud. It's okay, Karen-chan. I know you want to stay with me, but I don't want you or your sisters getting hurt. You don't want that either, right? Karen nods her head into Naruto's quickly dampening shirt. Naruto pulls her from his chest, staring into her red eyes. Karen-chan. I need you to be strong for your younger sisters for me, okay? I'll come back to Konoha with you as soon as me and my friend here are finished with what we need to do. Is that completely okay with you? She nods her head, wiping her eyes. When I get back, we can all look together at getting a clan compound for us, okay? Karen nods her head as she gives Naruto one more hug before running back over to Yugogo, who has a small smile adorning her face. Naruto turns back to Asuma, giving him a small nod. Now that you are done with your unexpected goodbyes, perhaps we should see what gave Kusa the idea of possibly becoming a major power, shall we? With that, Asuma jumps into the trapdoor, with Naruto not far behind him. Chapter 4. The sound of Asuma and Naruto's sandals hitting the floor echo throughout the hallway. Naruto thought the walls were painted pearl. In reality, they were made of a mineral that sparkled like quartz, scattering light every which way like small prisms. Naruto stretches his chakra out, trying to sense if there is any chakra lingering. Kit. I can feel one of my siblings somewhere in this underground area. Though the feeling is muted. Which means, either we aren't close enough to it and Uzushio has an underground city, or the seal on whatever is keeping them sealed is at least a level 9 barrier seal. Even then it's most likely at level 10. Kurama nods hesitantly from within the seal. There are a lot of unknowns here, Sarutobi-san. The slight waver in Naruto's voice gives pause to Asuma. Even someone who is clearly strong and experienced is hesitant about this, best to be cautious here. Can you possibly leave some kind of marker here, Raizen-san? Naruto nods, moving to place a teleportation seal beneath the hatch. After about 15 minutes of writing the seal, Asuma looks at Naruto slack-jawed. You might catch some flies if you leave your mouth open much longer, Asuma-san. Asuma snaps his mouth shut, his teeth clacking loudly. When we get back to the village, think you could possibly give me some tips on Fuinjutsu? The only Fuinjutsu master I was aware of is Jiraiya-sama, and he's almost never in the village. Naruto merely shrugs. We can see if our schedules line up. Lord Hokage tends to send me out on missions pretty frequently. I know he has some ideas he wants me to look over. Asuma nods, seeming satisfied. As the two of them continue down the hallway, Naruto takes in the amount of seals etched onto the walls. While most of these seals are preservation seals, I wonder just what they are storing down here for them to use this many different preservation seals. If it's anything of value, I expect security seals to be found somewhere near the end. Sarutobi-san, what's the plan if we run into any trouble? Asuma lights the cigarette in his mouth once more, letting the ash fall onto the pearl-white floor, before exhaling. It would be best to let you take the lead, Raizen-san. This is your old home after all, so you will know more than I will. Besides, the only reason Dad put me in charge of this mission is because you aren't off probation yet. We both know this. Naruto nods in response, running a critical eye over the seals they continue to walk by. I wouldn't be so confident in that, Sarutobi-san. I may be a capable shinobi, but you are as well, Sarutobi-san. You are one of the few wind users currently residing in Konoha, not to mention you are the son of the Hokage. You should be proud if anything in your skills. Asuma simply shrugs his shoulders. After walking for some time in the hall, Naruto notices that the color of the wall is slowly getting darker, turning into dark rustic. There is no mistake. I'm certain we are in the vault of the royal family of Uzushio. Glancing around on the walls, Naruto notices the Uzumaki swirl engraved into the wall on his right, large enough to take up a good portion of the wall. Asuma stops a few feet ahead from where Naruto is closely observing the wall. What is it, Sarutobi-san? Naruto asks from where he is standing, paying more attention to the seal on the wall than Asuma. Asuma merely stares. Standing before him is a wall engraved with the names of every single Uzumaki to ever live. Naruto glances over from the seal and notices the names. Kurama, any ideas on how to possibly explain why my name wouldn't be on the wall if Asuma is actually looking for my name? I would just merely go with they never had time to put your name up on the wall during the invasion. No, that won't work at all. I know, I just have to distract him from Raizen-san. Are your parents up here? Naruto merely just looks at Asuma in somewhat relief, before giving a small nod in answer. My mother should be, yes. My father on the other hand would not be up here. That I am almost certain of. Regardless, we should move along. The seal I was looking at earlier seems to be some kind of barrier seal. Asuma merely gives Naruto a curt nod in response, not wanting to dwell on the wall of dead names. The names probably bring back terrible memories for him. Naruto moves to stand in front of the wall. His index finger starts to hum with a light blue thread appearing from his finger. Chakra threads are certainly one of the most useful things that can be learned. Naruto snakes his chakra thread into a small crack on the wall, watching the intricate seal designed on the wall turn a light blue. The wall groans as the stone of the wall slowly splits in half. Once the stone has fully moved, Naruto takes a step into a very spacious room composed of mainly granite-like material. Numerous amounts of supplies laid scattered about on pedestals and counters that line the walls, not mentioning the various shelves that line the room from front to back. The shelves themselves are filled with numerous, ancient scrolls that are very yellow in color. The royal family vault. Naruto's voice trails off into a whisper that echoes quietly throughout the spacious room. Asuma glances over at Naruto, who is merely standing in the entrance looking at the room, taking it all in. This is the room that Mom would have shown me had she lived, that my family would have shown me had they been alive. All of this knowledge in journals, I need to take it back with me. As Naruto takes a step into the room, he notices at the very back two large scrolls that seem to be hovering above their pedestals. One has a red ribbon sash wrapped around it, with the kanji for summon on it, while the other one has nothing wrapped around it in general. Naruto walks over to the two large scrolls first, slowly running a critical eye over them. The security seals on these are extremely advanced, probably made by a high-level security master from Uzushio. Naruto lets his voice trail off as he kneels in front of the pedestals. Taking a kunai from a seal on his right thumb, Naruto slices his palm open, a thin line of blood appearing on his palm. Naruto swipes his blood over the pedestals, before quickly wrapping his palm with bandage wrappings from a seal on his left palm. The pedestals slowly groan, vibrating visibly as the air around them shakes, before the two scrolls drop onto the stone pedestals. Naruto grabs both the scrolls, slowly taking a look at each one. A summoning contract for seals? I don't think they were used in our timeline, Kurama? Kit, Whatever you do, the second you are alone you need to talk to the boss summon of the Seal clan. She is the only creature alive older than myself that I am aware of that isn't a demon. Wait, you're telling me that? Yes, Kit, you are in possession of a lost summoning clan that more than likely hasn't had a summoner in years. The other scroll is probably the forbidden scroll for Uzushio as well. Then I have to take these back with me for sure. No, what? Screw it, I am going to simply seal the whole room in a dimension pocket. After finishing his inner monologue with his furry brother, Naruto proceeds to start chakra drawing throughout the room a level 10 dimension creation seal. Sarutobi-san, I am going to have to ask you to leave and go back up to the surface. I am going to pocket seal this room entirely into my body and bring it back with us to Konoha. Hopefully this can be used to help restart the Uzumaki clan. Naruto whispers the last part under his breath. Sure thing, have fun sealing the whole room. With that, Asuma starts to walk back to where the hatch is. For the next couple of hours, Naruto goes about drawing the seals on the ground with his chakra. Once the entire floor is covered in the level 10 dimension pocket seal formula, Naruto proceeds to draw the entry-level converter on his right forearm. Once I draw this entry converter, I should be able to merely vacuum seal the room into the seal and this will all vanish. With that in mind, Naruto pushed a small amount of chakra into the seal on his forearm, thus activating the seal array in the room. The air around them was sucked into what looked like a small black hole. Once the room had disappeared, he felt a burning sensation from the sealing matrix on his forearm. Thank Kami that fucking worked. Those scrolls should help you fight Madara if you use them correctly, Kit. You do have a point, Kurama. While Naruto is talking to Kurama through the mental link, a loud screech can be heard from above on the surface. Shit, that sounds like my sibling Isabu. I do suggest you get up there now, Kit. Before Isabu accidentally kills your friends. With that being said, Naruto sprints from the vacant hole in the area, sprinting down the hall towards the hatch. As Asuma jumps up and through the hatch, landing with his legs bent on the soft sand, he notices Yugugo and Hate chatting on the beach near the water. Asuma gazes further past them, noticing the kids playing about in the water. Asuma makes his way over to them. On his way to them he notices an extremely malicious presence that's slowly growing in density present in the misty air. Asuma increases his pace to the couple as the air starts to visibly grow heavier from the Ki being leaked into the air. Asuma feels dread seep into his very bones as the hair on his skin stands up straight. The fear slowly runs its course inside of Asuma as he tries his hardest to keep a straight face for the rest of the team. This feeling, I have definitely felt it before as well. The night the QB attacked. Shit. It would seem that Kusa piece of trash wasn't lying after all. The Sanbai is here somewhere. After this revelation, Asuma sprints towards where Hate and Yugugo are chatting, both seemingly oblivious to the impending threat. Hate, Yugugo, we need to leave now. An otherworldly sound seemingly takes over the air, the sound splitting the air in a deathly screech. Far off in the almost pitch-black ocean, the Sanbai emerges from the water, breaking the otherwise relatively calm waves. The Sanbai's emergence causes the waves that were once calm to turn violent quickly, forcing the Uzumaki sisters out of the water. The violent waves proceed to crash against the shoreline, spraying foam everywhere. The three sisters sprint from the water to Yugugo and Hate, who are further up the beach with Asuma assuming a defensive position. Loud wailing comes from the Sanbai in the distance as Asuma grips his trench knives tighter, his fingers turning purple from the pressure. Finally, Asuma comes to a decision. Yugugo, Hate. As leader of this mission, I am giving you your last order. Take the kids and run back to my old man. He needs to know of what's transpired here. The sheer authority in Asuma's tone gives pause to any disagreement the two may have had. There was more to this mission, wasn't there, Asuma? Yugugo narrows her eyes suspiciously at her commanding officer, even though she technically outranked him since she is an Umbu. Look, Yugugo, now isn't the time to debate this. If you have questions, you will have to ask my old man about it later. With that, Asuma motions with his hand for them to leave frantically. Hate grabs Karen and Tayuya while Yugugo grabs Kin, both of them jumping away quickly in the direction of Konoha. Naruto jumps out of the hatch to see Asuma getting pummeled on the water by the Sanbai. Naruto curses as he draws out some paper and ink from the seal on his forearm, quickly writing down a seal matrix. Naruto summons the sealing chains from his back as he sprints onto the water, making sure the chakra flow is there. Naruto sends his chains out towards the Sanbai, trying to tie the Sanbai down, or at the least slow the large Biju down. Naruto proceeds to jump to Asuma, who is about to be crushed by the Biju's fist, grabbing him and jumping back to a marker back on the beach. Asuma sags against the rock Naruto leans him up against, far from the reach of the Sanbai currently. Sarutobi-san, I think that I would be best suited to dealing with the Sanbai. I suggest you retreat with the others. Asuma merely nods before passing out from blood loss, too battered to put up any resistance. Naruto examines Asuma more closely. A deep gash on his right leg seeping blood, as well as blood seeping from an open wound on his temple. Not to mention the numerous bruises littering his body. He probably has internal hemorrhage as well. Just at precursory look over. I need to get Asuma away quickly before he gets worse. If only Bachan was here, or Sakura, either of them could heal Asuma up in no time. Naruto wills a shadow clone into existence, who immediately nods at the original, before picking up Asuma and sprinting away in the same direction as the others. Now I need to figure out what exactly to do with Isabu. I know Isabu is just being super cranky about being released finally, but still. Any ideas, Kurama? Honestly, Kit, you need to figure out how to calm Aisabu down enough to talk. Once you talk to him and explain what's going on, you should be able to work something out. So calm the angry Biju down who's about to fire a Biju bomb at me. Wait, a Biju bomb, SHIT. The Biju bomb streaks across the water towards Naruto, who narrowly dodges the bomb. The bomb explodes roughly behind Naruto on the beach, sending sand every which way. Naruto starts to draw the seal matrix in the air with chakra, running towards Aisabu as he does. Once he finishes the matrix, with a shout of Uzumaki sealing arts, heaven's protection. A bright dome appears around Naruto, giving some form of protection. Willing a shadow clone into existence, Naruto proceeds to pull out a kunai with his teleportation seal on it, flinging it to Aisabu. Aisabu brings down a foot towards the kunai, making Naruto cancel his teleportation. Flipping through hand signs, Naruto proceeds to use a quick wind style wind vacuum which propels Naruto backwards from the force, creating space between himself and Aisabu. Aisabu-san, please calm down for a second and let me talk to you. Naruto shouts over the endless waves, adding some more pressure to his chains holding Aisabu down. You are a mere human. I won't let you seal me again into an object or worse. Another person. With that, Aisabu breaks free of the sealing chains, sending them reeling back into Naruto. Aisabu's body slams the water, creating a massive wave that rushes towards Naruto. Shit, Aisabu won't listen to me. He was way more calm and docile in my timeline when I met him. We were also fighting Madara if you do recall, Kit. Not helping Kurama. Well then, go into Sage Mode Stage 1. That should at least get Aisabu to listen to you if he sees you're a sage from my clan. Naruto nods his head in answer to Kurama. Naruto will shadow clones into existence, sending them to keep Aisabu distracted as Naruto slowly merges with Kurama. After about 10 minutes of waiting, Naruto stands up in Stage 1 cloak. Naruto rushes to Aisabu as the last of his clones get dispelled. Aisabu glances down at Naruto, noticing that Naruto is in Stage 1 cloak. So the human is a Jinchuriki then? Interesting. And Uzumaki as well if that hair is true to the stereotype. Very well then, I shall test him. Aisabu forms 4 more Biju bombs, aiming them all at the oncoming Naruto. Shit! Aisabu-san, please allow me to speak with you. It's important. As Naruto says this, Naruto sends out explosive kunai towards the bombs, flying through hand seals. With a shout of Uzumaki barrier style, explosive barrier. Naruto detonates the tags into a fiery barrier in front of the bombs. That is a level 8 barrier that I created at the beginning of the war. Hopefully, it will at least slow the bombs down. It partially blocked a blast from the Jubi back in the war after all. The bombs tear through the barrier, though the speed of the bombs is slowing down by a significant amount, allowing Naruto to get out of the way of the blast. Naruto activates a seal on his leg, pulling out a Fuma Shuriken attached to a string. Throwing the Fuma Shuriken, Naruto goes through hand seals before calling out lightning style, Kami's hand. The Shuriken strikes Aisabu, landing in Aisabu's shell before a strike of lightning comes down onto Aisabu, sending Aisabu into a painful howl. You little fucking shit. You actually have some worth. Take this. Acid style, acid spray. Corrosive green spray comes out of Aisabu's mouth, seemingly following Naruto on the water all around. Shit. Kurama. Pump some more nature chakra into me please. This won't end well otherwise. I need to get a level 10 sleep paralysis seal on Aisabu and now, as Naruto and Aisabu battle it out on the water, Yugugo looks on from the ruins of the village, having sent Hate and Asuma on with the kids towards Konoha. Yugugo clenches her teeth in frustration watching the battle. How is Raizen-san so strong? To go against a Biju by himself, there is definitely more to this mission than I thought. I wish I could help, but that is at the very least the Kage level fight, and I am no Kage level shinobi. Going back to Naruto, Naruto dodges another foot stomp from Aisabu, diving out of the way so he's directly underneath Aisabu. Naruto jumps to one of Aisabu's feet, chakra drawing the sleep paralysis seal onto Aisabu's foot. Once the seal has been finally drawn, Naruto pushes chakra into the seal, instantly putting the large Biju to sleep. Naruto jumps out from beneath Aisabu, watching the Biju fall down onto the top of the water. Naruto will summon shadow clones into existence, jumping on their shoulders before Naruto proceeds to enter the mindscape of Aisabu. Inside Aisabu's mindscape, Naruto wanders around in a black space, water rising up to about his ankles. The area around him is empty save the water, with nothing in sight. After walking for some time, Naruto eventually comes across a miniature-sized turtle version of Aisabu. Aisabu-sen, I presume? Aisabu looks up sharply at Naruto. How do you know my name, human? I haven't told my name to any human ever. This is going to take a long time to explain, Aisabu-san. Please, before you say anything, please give me the grace of being the one to bear your older sibling and hear me out. Though Aisabu is clearly not happy with the idea, he nods nonetheless, motioning with his webbed foot for Naruto to explain. After about an hour of explaining everything, Aisabu is visibly shaken, to say the least. This worried Kurama, who had never seen his usually calm and level-headed sibling be anything but. After taking a minute to gather himself, Aisabu looks at Naruto fully. So father really chose you then to save the world? Naruto inclines his head slightly, letting his blood-red hair droop over his eyes. Flashback. Naruto is standing in front of the legendary Rikudo Sennin, blood dripping down the left side of his head, pooling beneath his feet in droplets. Naruto glances around the dimension, taking in the very open space he is currently standing in. Naruto sheathes Tsuki Dorobo into the beautiful half-red moon scabbard on his waist. The scabbard itself is a dark black wood wrapped in a blood-red cloth with the Uzumaki symbol engraved beneath the half-red moon. Naruto brings his gaze back to the Rikudo Sennin with a sense of true understanding passing between the two. You have finally seen it then with your own two eyes. How cruel it is to try and bring peace to a violent world. Naruto merely dips his head in acquiescence. It's exactly as you told Sasuke. This world isn't what anyone really thinks it is. Us humans are running this world with war and resource usage. It takes a lot for me to say this considering Ero-sensei always strived for peace, but Naruto's voice trails off into a quiet whisper as the Sennin just gives a small nod to Naruto. I still believe in you, young Naruto. There will come a time where you will be given an opportunity to right the wrongs of this world, though it is some ways away I am afraid. Naruto clenches his fist to the point it turns white. Though not trusting his voice he remains silent. I need to end this. This war is pointless, there is no need to fight. If only what I found out from Gigi about Hashirama wasn't true. It seems as though it is a common trait amongst the Hokage to spare a traitor they once held close to their hearts. It has come to doom us all. The Sennin observes Naruto with a keen eye, giving slight approval of the new Naruto. Maturity suits you better than that rambunctious persona you used to possess. Naruto cracks a small smile at the compliment, though the Sennin can tell it is more subdued than it usually is. Faith in the shinobi world. Faith in the shinobi world, indeed. End flashback. I came back to save everyone, no matter what it takes. I have already decided I will die to save this world, so it doesn't turn out like mine. Aisabu is taken aback by the sheer amount of emotion in Naruto's voice, yet Aisabu can see it. He can see what exactly the Rikudo Sennin saw in Naruto, the potential to truly bring a lasting peace. With that thought, Aisabu nods his head towards Naruto, bowing slightly. You have gained my approval, young one. I see what Father saw in you clearly. Father is right, you are the chosen one who will bring peace to the world as we know it. I shall join Kurama inside you, if you'll allow me. Naruto simply gives Aisabu a small smile, yet Aisabu can tell this is one of the most real smiles Naruto could possibly give. With that decided, Naruto fades from Aisabu's mindscape, letting Aisabu merge into his body completely, just like his brother Kurama. Standing on the water with rain pouring down his face, Naruto smiles to the world, his bangs covering his eyes. Hana, you would be proud of me. I'm closer to bringing peace to this world. I will make sure everyone gets a chance to live a peaceful life, even if it means my life is sacrificed in the process. Naruto can feel a roaring fire burn within him that fuels him with determination. Naruto grabs the cloth wrapping on his waist, squeezing the cloth. No matter what. Chapter 5. Deidara whistles a low tune as she walks through the empty streets of Iwa. She had received a summons from Old Man Inoki, in the middle of the night, as fate would have it, though she couldn't be too upset. Truth be told, he was up late writing haiku instead of sleeping. The light from the moon reflected off the large window of the Tsuchikage tower, pooling on the dark gravel beneath it. Deidara steps near the entrance of the tower, her shadow casting in the moonlight. Two jonin step in front of Deidara, the one on the right moving in front to block her path. Kamizura-san. What business do you have at the tower this late at night? The jonin stretches his hand out in front of Deidara. The old man wants to see me for some ghastly reason, Kimura Linen-san. Deidara hands over her shinobi ID to the now identified Linen. Linen nods to Deidara as he hands her ID back, before stepping aside and letting Deidara enter. Deidara makes his way up the stairs, shoving his hands inside of his long haori with dark red roses trailing down the sleeves, his footsteps echoing throughout the empty stairwell. Lights dimly illuminate the stairwell, casting a small shadow of Deidara along the stairs. It feels so weird being in the tower when nobody else is here. There's almost always people running up and down these stairs. Deidara arrives in front of the Tsuchikage door. He knocks on the wood lightly. A grunt is his answer. He opens the door to see Inoki sitting at his old stone brick desk, an oil lamp being burned to Inoki's right as he signs the paper currently in his hand. Inoki glances up from the stack of paperwork to see Deidara standing in the doorway. Bah, Deidara, it's about time you showed up. Inoki moves his stack of paperwork to the side of his desk. Geez, old man, it takes some time to walk to the tower from the compound, you know. Anyways, what's so important you had to call me here in the middle of the night? That's when Deidara finally takes in the look on Inoki's face. Inoki means business. Deidara subconsciously straightens her posture, before realizing her hair is a complete mess. Deidara looks to the side as she sweeps her freakishly long hair out of her face, before looking back up at Inoki. Inoki glares at her for a moment, before sighing. He stands up and motions for Deidara to sit down at the kotatsu as he sits down as well. Inoki pulls a specific black folder from his desk with chakra strings, guiding it onto the kotatsu. Look, Deidara, I will be the first to admit it. I am getting up there in years, though I still have quite some years left in me. Mu-sensei first started grooming me when I was about your age. I believe it is time I start to groom someone for my seat as well. Deidara stares at Inoki in disbelief. She can't believe what she is hearing. The old man just admitted that he's looking for someone to replace him eventually. Wait, could this mean that he is choosing me? Calm down, Deidara. It's not like your lifelong dream is possibly coming to be true. Deidara gets pulled from her thoughts from a cough from Inoki. She gasps slightly and brings her full attention back to Inoki. Look, Deidara, I won't lie to you. This is most likely going to be one of the most difficult missions you have ever undertaken. Deidara gives Inoki a skeptical look. What mission is this important that it couldn't have waited until the morning anyways, old man? Like what could honestly make you pull me out of the compound in the middle of the night anyway? Inoki just gives her a look before closing his eyes. Deidara, just look in your file once you get back to the compound. With that said, Inoki motions for Deidara to leave. She nods, picking up the black folder, before getting up from the kotatsu and leaving. On the way out of the tower, Deidara takes one last look up at the window, to see Inoki staring at the moon. Geez, the old man thinks way too much. I doubt this mission is that important. I mean, what Kage in their right mind gives a super important mission to a 15-year-old girl? With that thought, Deidara quickens her pace back to the clan compound. Deidara gets back to her room, throwing her door open and jumping into her bed while throwing her headband onto a little peg above her door. She sits up in her bed, before opening her black folder. Normally the old man just hands out mission scrolls, so for him to actually hand me a folder must actually mean it's important. She opens the scroll to read Ambassador to Konoha and promptly faints onto her bed, the folder landing on her face. The old man is making me an ambassador? To Konoha of all fucking places. Deidara shoots up in her bed, then throws the folder across the room. The folder smacks into the wall, before slowly sliding to the floor. Deidara flips over, burying her face inside of her pillow. Why is he giving me such a hard fucking mission? Doesn't he understand what Konoha has done to us? Deidara sighs into her pillow in defeat. She glances at her clock with one eye covered by long strands of hair. It's only 2 in the morning. Guess I should get some sleep, since I will be leaving in the morning anyways. Deidara slowly closes her eyes as the chime on her clock strikes 2 exactly. Sun seeps through the open window in Deidara's room, pulling across her face slightly. She squints as the sun peeks into her eyes. Trying to swat the sun away, she flails her right arm lazily, before shooting up in bed upright in shock. Shit! The old man's ambassador mission to Konoha. I have to leave. Frantically running through her room, Deidara throws together a suitcase of clothes, as well as a bag of equipment. She slams it all together in a storage scroll, before running downstairs, stopping and grabbing a brush from her stand, before continuing to run back downstairs while brushing her hair out. She runs into the kitchen, where her mother and father are preparing breakfast. They glance up from cooking to see Deidara in full mission gear. You have a mission already this early in the morning, Deidara-chan? Deidara nods as she swipes a piece of toast that pops out of the toaster, sprinting to get her shoes on. She turns to her parents. Yeah, also I'm probably going to be gone for a long time on this one. I can't say what it is because it's classified, for now. I will try and write letters back to you guys when I can though. Deidara runs and hugs both her parents, who have small smiles on their faces. We knew this time would come eventually where you get high-level missions, Deidara-chan, so don't worry about us. Just come home safely, okay? Deidara nods as she steps back from her parents. She turns from them before they can see the tears in her eyes, stepping outside the door. Waiting outside is a group of golemambu, as well as Inoki in a soft gray kimono. Deidara, this group of golem will be accompanying you on your mission. I will also be sending an aide with you later on. They are currently on their way back from a mission as we speak. Everything you need to know is in your folder. Any questions? Deidara shakes her head, running up and giving Inoki a firm hug. Inoki chuckles and pats her head. You will do fine, Deidara. This is honestly not going to be as bad as you think. Deidara nods her head, turning away from Inoki so that way he can't see her misty eyes. Taking off towards the gates with a gentle push from Inoki, Deidara and the golem squad proceed to leave IWA. Konoha, look out! Here comes Deidara Kamizuru, the future Godame Tsuchikage. Naruto rushes through the dense trees of the Land of Fire. Having had to run across the length of the ocean by himself wasn't particularly an enjoyable experience, although having Isabu in his mind was a rather soothing experience, especially compared to his furry tenant. Fuck you to Kit. My sincerest condolences for not being as calm as my younger sibling. Naruto snickers at Kurama, giving his furry brother a playful stick of the tongue. Kurama just sighs, before going back to sleep with a huff of arrogance. Naruto sends out a chakra pulse, finally able to sense Asuma and the others. I'm not sure how I was able to catch up to them, but I do suppose I haven't stopped once, and they probably stopped during the nights. Naruto speeds up slightly, covering the remaining distance between the group and himself. As Naruto approaches the group, Asuma and the other visibly relax once they see it is just Naruto. Naruto gives a small nod to everyone, before going to the front of the group with Asuma. Asuma is covered in lots of tightly wrapped bandages that peek out from beneath his vest, as well as a splint being held in place by wind chakra on his left leg. It must be difficult for him to even move. Though he was one of the Guardian 12, so it's not that surprising he is keeping up. Though the use of wind chakra holding the splint up is ingenious, Sarutobi-san. Asuma nods to Naruto as he makes some room for him in the front. We should be close to Konoha by now. Maybe a day's run at most. Naruto glances up at the slowly setting sun, the sky faintly turning a dark orange. We should more than likely camp for the night. There should be a small clearing up ahead we can camp in. Asuma nods his head, signaling for the group to stop. The group hops down onto the soft, earthly floor. The 3 Uzumaki kids come running up to Naruto, tackling him to the ground. Naruto cracks a small smile as he pats all of them on their heads. They beam up at him as they clamber off of him. Naruto stands up, brushing himself off, before starting to unseal his camping equipment from a storage seal on his left bicep. He unfurls his sleeping bag onto the soft grass, looking up to see Hate, Asuma and Yugido unfurling theirs as well. Naruto pulls out 3 more sleeping bags from his seal for the 3 kids. They each happily take one, before going right to sleep after unfurl their bags as well. Asuma walks over to Naruto with a slight limp, who is now starting a small fire. Uzumaki-san, may I ask what happened to the sanbai? Naruto pauses as the flames from the fire slowly rise in height, the small clearing instantly becoming warmer. Naruto's shoulders slump downwards as he turns to Asuma while on the ground. I have sealed the sanbai if that's what you're asking about, Sarutobi-san. Asuma shakes his head. I presumed you would. I mean, where did you seal the sanbai? Now Naruto is sweating in the back of his mind while Kurama is rolling around in his head laughing his ass off. Sorry Sarutobi-san, but any more information about me will have to be cleared from Lord Hokage first. Asuma stares at Naruto for a second, before shrugging his shoulders and returning to his sleeping bag. I can take the first watch, Yugido will take the second. Asuma and Naruto, you two get some rest. You both fought the most. Naruto nods gratefully to Hate, slipping into his sleeping bag. Sleep soon claims Naruto as the wind starts to pick up around him due to his high affinity in the element. Naruto's bag is soon floating in the air slightly, creating a small cocoon as well. The only sound is the wind and Hate sharpening a kunai. Morning comes fairly quickly, with Naruto getting up just as Yugido is waking the kids and Asuma up. Naruto hops down onto the ground, scaring the living hell out of Yugido. He seals his sleeping bag into his storage seal, before nodding to the others. Once everyone is ready to go, with a still slightly shaken Yugido, thanks to Naruto simply coming out of nowhere, the group heads to Konoha, each of them with a kid on their back. The dense fog brings the group into sight of the northern Konoha gate. Standing on the little ridge overlooking the path, Naruto and the others sigh in relief at the sight of the gate. As they get closer, they notice a young girl with very long blonde hair that has been braided back, arguing at the gate with Kotetsu and Izumo while a group of Anbu ninja surround her. The company of ninja are dressed up in long dark maroon trench coats, with IWA head protectors giving off a reflection in the midday sun. Naruto lets Kin down, squatting so that way she simply steps off from his back, before he walks up to the group at the gate. Kotetsu visibly brightens as Naruto walks through the group, stopping in front of Kotetsu. Sarutobi Taicho and his company have returned. Naruto states as he hands over his shinobi ID from a seal on his left wrist. Izumo whistles at the display of Fuinjutsu as Kotetsu hands Naruto his shinobi ID back. They nod, as Asuma and the others pass through the gate. Sarutobi-san, I will report to Lord Hokage for you, while you go get some rest and see someone at the hospital. Asuma gives Naruto a grateful nod as he lets down Taiya from his back, before making his way to the hospital. Naruto turns to the group of now identified IWA shinobi, before he recognizes a young and female Deidara arguing with Izumo over being let in. I wonder why she would be here. With a group of IWA golem no less to boot. I swear to you I am here on diplomatic business. I must meet with your Hokage right now. Izumo merely sighs at the young girl's frustration. As I have already said, we got no letter you were coming from your Kage. Therefore until Lord Hokage or someone high enough rank comes and escorts you to our Hokage, I can't let you into the village. Deidara's face turns slightly red in frustration as Naruto walks up to the pair. Izumo-san, I can escort this young woman and her contingency to Lord Hokage. I am heading there anyway to give my mission report. Izumo nods gratefully as Deidara slowly starts to size Naruto up. She takes note of the small wear and tear on his long haori, before giving him an approving nod, before motioning for him to follow. Naruto dips his head in acquiescence as he leads the group through the main street of Konoha. Naruto turns his head to see that Deidara is currently taking in all OK Konoha at its rush hour of the day. Numerous market stalls line the street as ninja and civilians alike rush from stall to stall, leaving a wide path for the group of shinobi. So Iwa-san, may I inquire your name and what you're doing here? Deidara looks up at Naruto in slight surprise at the lack of malice in his voice. You don't hate me? Naruto stifles a laugh as a small smile adorns his face. Young girl, there is very little to hate about Iwa. Our nations were at war, yes, but that was then. This is now, let bygones be bygones. Deidara gives Naruto an appreciative smile as she reaches her hand out. The name is Deidara Kamizuru, future Yondaime Tsuchikage. Naruto shakes his head as he shakes her hand gently so as to not crush her hand. The name is Raizen Uzumaki, at your service, Deidara-chan. Deidara blushes as she retracts her hand, slightly fidgeting with a stray strand of hair. Stupid handsome red-haired Uzumaki making me blush. He's got to be barely 20. Deidara is pulled from her thoughts as she notices they have arrived at the entrance of the tower. A Konoha Anbu shunshins in front of the group. Young girl, Uzumaki-san, you too may enter the tower. The rest of you will wait outside. A round of nods is the gravelly voiced Umbu's answer as both Naruto and Deidara proceed to enter the tower. Upon reaching the top, a young woman with dark brown hair tied back in a bun nods to the two of them with a smile on her face. Lord Hokage isn't busy currently, so go right on in. Naruto gives the young secretary a grateful nod as he eases open the large oak doors, revealing Hiruzen to be smoking from his pipe while looking over some paperwork. He looks up gratefully from the bane of his existence to see Naruto, and a young woman he is unfamiliar with entering his office. Hiruzen smiles regardless as Naruto gives him a nod. Lord Third, this is Deidara Kamizuru. She states she is a delegate from IWA here on diplomatic intentions. Now, this gets Hiruzen to raise an eyebrow. Kamizuru, eh? Tell me, young one, what's your relation to old Inoki? Hiruzen empties his pipe into a small ash bowl on his desk. I'm one of his granddaughters. My father is Rinji Kamizuru, Sandame-sama. Hiruzen nods. Ah yes, Iwa's righteous Rinji is certainly a formidable young man. No wonder Inoki would trust you with a mission like this. Now tell me, why exactly are you here? Deidara nods as she pulls out a black folder and places it on the large desk. Hiruzen takes it gratefully before opening it, skimming through its contents. Hiruzen's eyes open in surprise. I presume you are familiar with the contents as well, young one? Deidara nods. Then I presume you were made ambassador then. Well then, we shall discuss the details at a later date. For now, I will let one of my Umbu lead you to a hotel until we can find somewhere more suitable for you. My apologies. Deidara nods as an Umbu materializes into existence, before walking out behind the Umbu. Hiruzen turns to Naruto. What happened? There was no playfulness in the old man's voice either. Good. This isn't a time to be serious. Naruto takes a seat on the floor with his legs crossed. This will take some time. Code Phoenix, old man. Hiruzen gives a stiff nod as he motions for his Umbu to leave the room as he raises the privacy barrier. Naruto launches into detail about the beginning of the Fourth War, not telling Hiruzen everything quite yet. Hiruzen's face turns darker and darker with each passing detail about the war and with Naruto's past. Eventually, Hiruzen puts a hand up to stop Naruto from speaking further. I will hear more of this later, Naruto-kun. For now, simply tell me. Is there anything I should be immediately concerned with? Naruto ponders at this, tapping a finger to his chin in thought. The only thing that happens remotely soon is the invasion at the Chunin exams. Other than that, I merely need to keep an eye on some spies that are lurking in the village that I know of. Hiruzen nods and opens his mouth to speak before Naruto beats him to it. Old man, the timeline has already changed. Hiruzen's jaw snaps shut with a resounding click. His eyebrows furrow in shock. Explain. It's not a question. I have the Sanbai now sealed inside myself, found it while we were in Uzushio. So that means Yagura is more than likely not being controlled, which is probably why the civil war in Kiri is starting so late. Hiruzen nods. Can you take the Sanbai out from you and seal it in someone else? Naruto sighs before entering his mindscape. Isaba-san? I would not mind being sealed into someone else besides yourself, Naruto-kun. Though it must be that young redhead with the healing chakra that I felt earlier. So Karen then? Isaba nods in consent. Isaba said he wishes to only be resealed into Karen, a girl we rescued from those Kusanins. Hiruzen nods. We will shelve that for the time being then. I see no reason to rush it when your younger counterpart still has his Kurama as well. Now, this raised Naruto's eyebrows significantly. Interesting. For the time being, will you take the young 3 Uzumaki children in with you? Naruto nods. Good, then here you go. Hiruzen throws an old pair of keys with a small red swirl inscribed on them. The Uzumaki compound. It's on the northern end of the village, by training ground 33. Naruto nods, catching the keys, and stands up. We can continue this conversation later, Gigi. For now I'm going to go to the hospital. That's where Asuma and the kids are. Also Gigi, you should really talk to Asuma soon. Hiruzen sighs. I know I need to. It seems like he just wants nothing to do with me. Naruto nods as he walks over to the large window, watching the sky turn a lovely soft orange as dusk settles upon the day. Your family is the tree, Gigi, and the members in it are the roots for the tree that make it up and give it life. You can't let the roots die out. With that said, Naruto leaves a contemplating Hiruzen in his office, making his way to the hospital. Naruto walks into the room to see Asuma with his leg up in bandages on the bed, surrounded by the 3 Uzumaki sisters. The 3 sisters rush to Naruto, clinging to his leg. Naruto shushes them out, so as to not disturb the sleeping Asuma. Once they reach the Uzumaki mansion, Naruto puts the key in the front gate, hearing the iron grate on the ground. The compound is spotless, like it has been cleaned every day. The 3 sisters immediately bolt inside the house, no doubt to likely go and find rooms to claim as their own. The amount of seals I see littered about are astronomical. Not to mention they are all barrier or security seals, at least at level 8. Man, Mom was crazy with seals. Naruto smiles as he walks into the house, the maroon wood flooring nice and sparkly as Naruto leaves his sandals at the door along with the 3 young sisters. He walks into the main room where the dark oak kotatsu is, as well as a marble kitchen with forest green cabinet finish. Naruto nods happily. I never got to come here back in my own time. Now that I am here, as well as having a chance to save everyone, maybe I can start a family too. Kurama gives a small smile to his brother from inside the seal. This is another chance to fulfill your other dream, Kit. Naruto nods to his furry brother mentally. Yeah, though it won't be with her, she would want me to move on. Naruto moves to claim a bed of his own as he wills a few shadow clones into existence to go move everything else from his apartment over to here. War Diaries 1. God fucking damn it, move your ass. Naruto flashes to a nearby IWA Nin, before flashing back into the trench as a flurry of kunai fly overhead. Why the fuck did Taki and Kori ever ally with Madara anyway? Naruto asks as a severed hand lands near him, courtesy of Sasuke having relieved the offending man of the hand when he had tried to grab Sasuke and pull him out of the trench. Sasuke shrugs in response to Naruto, flying through seals before spitting a katon, Gokayuka no Jutsu over the trench at the enemy Nin. Beats me, though it might be because you suck at politics, dope. Sasuke grunts as he drags Naruto down from being relieved of his head from his shoulders, before Naruto whirls and slices the enemy Ice Nin's jugular. Naruto flips Sasuke off, before flashing them away. They flash to a nearby cliff, the last of their forces having already fallen back. For once, the casualties would be under 100 of them. Naruto forms the ram seal, and the whole encampment glows a brilliant blue before erupting in orange flames. The entire enemy camp was charred to nothing. We got Kiba out of their camp in time, thankfully. Sasuke jerks his thumb to a still unconscious Kiba, with a finally at peace Akamaru. Naruto sighs. This rescue had been risky. Kiba and Kuratsuchi as well as he had been captured in a raid the previous night, so Tsunade sent both Sasuke and Naruto, as well as a platoon of 200 men to save the three generals. Only 50 were either injured or dead. That was a low number considering how fucking shit the war had been thus far. Naruto signals for the platoon to move back to Hisahi Castle. Their campaign in Taki has been at a stalemate ever since they got through the first thicket of marshes on the Konoha side of the country. Now they are stuck fighting both Taki and the Ice Nin from the land of rivers. They need to get through Taki in order to make the supply line to Iwa and Konoha more readily available. As the platoon leaves, Tobi materializes, stabbing C through the heart. Naruto flashes in front of Tobi, blocking a kunai thrust from his left hand with his own kunai, before planting his boot into Tobi's stomach. Tobi is sent flying, though he manages to stop himself from flying off the cliff. Sasuke grabs C, who is bleeding profusely. Naruto throws a Mie kunai to Sasuke, who nods and flashes to Tsunade. Only she can save C now. Tobi stands up, dusting himself off before glaring at Naruto. Double time it out of here, everyone. Now. The platoon takes off down the cliff, with Naruto standing in front of Tobi with one kunai in his hand, a lightning style, raisin spear in his other hand. Naruto, you continue to stand in my way once again. How many times have we done this now? Yet you still can't kill me, because you know what it will do to Kakashi. Naruto glares, before hurling the spear and the kunai at Tobi at the same time. Tobi narrowly dodges the spear, not even bothering about the kunai that had been thrown over his head. That's when he sees the seal tag on the kunai. Sure, Naruto pummels Tobi's face into the ground, sending him skidding down the cliffside roughly. Naruto nods before sending a chakra pulse out around him. Feeling that his platoon is far enough gone, he flashes away just as Tobi materializes with his Kamui back on the cliffside. I will kill you, Uzumaki. Slowly and painfully you will die beneath me once we extract that damnable Biju from you. The sound of space parting is the last sound on the cliff as the wind picks up in the area. Chapter 6. Ryzen flips a pan of pancakes in the air in his new kitchen as light footsteps can be heard from down the hall in the early morning. The three sisters walk into the kitchen, take one whiff of the aroma in the air, and immediately rush to the table, their mouths salivating. Ryzen smiles as he serves the three sisters some pancakes with bacon on the side. As the three sisters dig into the food, Ryzen sits at the table, pulling out some paper and ink. Kurama, do you remember the treatment for hate? A nod is his answer. Ryzen sighs in relief, before starting to write down the treatment steps while listening to Kurama try to recall it. An immortal being does have too much information to be processed normally after all. Ryzen walks up to the front desk at the entrance of the hospital. A young brunette is sitting behind the pristine counter. She looks up from some paperwork to see Ryzen standing there, a maroon folder tucked underneath his arm. His face is sunken in with black circles from lack of sleep. The young girl frowns, looking at how unhealthy Ryzen is. Can I help you? She asks with slight hope, though she knows better than to hold on to much hope. Most ninjas hate the hospital, which Ryzen clearly is by the headband on his head. Ryzen nods, oblivious to the young woman's thoughts. Yes, could you by chance direct me to whoever treats Gecko hate? She nods, shuffling through some paperwork. That would be Chiyu-sensei. She's currently finishing up an appointment with a patient. Should I schedule one for you? Ryzen is already shaking his head before she finishes her sentence. There is no need. I just need to speak to her quickly is all. She nods, pointing to a door at the far end of the hallway. Her door is the last one down the hall. She should be done by the time you walk down there. Ryzen dips his head gratefully to the young secretary, before moving down the hall towards the door she indicated. Perhaps you should schedule an appointment for the future. You look like you could use one. Ryzen waves her off while walking down the hall. I am fine, I assure you. Simply didn't sleep last night is all. Or for any night for quite some years, but she doesn't need to know that. Walking down the hall, The dark oak door squeaks open loudly against the floor. A young woman with night black hair, bandages over a maroon shirt as well as dark sandals. Ryzen instantly recognizes her as a young Kurenai, largely thanks to her ruby red eyes. Ryzen nods his head in greeting, earning a polite smile from the young blackette. Ryzen enters the door past her. Inside is a cozy little room, with a fireplace in the corner, as well as numerous cedar bookshelves lining the wall, more than likely chock full of medical texts. A young woman with light blue hair and glasses hiding charcoal eyes is the first thing Ryzen sees as he fully enters the room. He takes in a large oak desk she is sitting behind. That's some nice oak wood. Very well done. You know about architecture too? Of course I do. I know everything, Kit. Ryzen shrugs mentally. Chiyu-sensei, I presume? The now identified Chiyu turns her head while nodding, giving Ryzen a cursory glance over. That would be me, yes. How can I help you? Ryzen Uzumaki. Her eyes go slightly wide at the name. The same one who managed to save Sarutobi-san and the other on that horrendous mission to Yuzu? Ryzen nods his head, moving his hair ever so slightly. That was certainly impressive. I'm not sure any other shinobi could have gotten that team out of there, in all honesty. Enough of that though, what brings you to my humble office? Ryzen takes a chair in the front of the desk, moving it with chakra strings, before sitting down on the cushion. He places the folder on the table, moving it to Chiyu. This is a cure for Hyade's infection on his lungs. He says it so nonchalantly that it takes a moment for Chiyu to process the information, before she quickly reaches for the folder, practically ripping it open. She carefully starts to examine all of the treatments described in the folder, before putting it down, excitement in her eyes. She calms herself as she looks up at Ryzen. What exactly do you want in exchange for this information? Ryzen tilts his head quizzically. What do I want? Can you explain, please? I'm not sure I understand what you are asking. Now it's Chiyu's turn to look quizzical. As in, what reward do you want in exchange for this medical breakthrough? Money? Accommodation? Ryzen takes a look of insult at the mere mention of reward. Sakura's medical techniques saved countless lives on the battlefield. Even if I can't do all of them, I at least know how to do them. But to ask for a reward, the air slowly gets heavier with malice radiating from Ryzen. Kit! You need to stop now. You are going to bring the damn hospital down, you fool. With that, the air returns to normal. Ryzen's teeth and fingernails shrink back to normal length as he calms down. My apologies. No, I don't need any compensation of any form. I simply wish for you to use your medical talents to help people. If you feel so inclined, perhaps you simply leave my name out of it being mentioned. Chiyu nods, though she is flabbergasted. Ryzen stands, making for the door. Oh, and one more thing, please keep this technique to yourself and the higher doctors in the hospital. Chiyu nods, still speechless in her chair. Ryzen closes the door gently, leaving the young doctor to her thoughts. Ryzen leaves the hospital, ignoring the looks from the other doctors and nurses full of concern. They act like they have never seen a war veteran before. Not from your war kit. This is true. Ryzen walks down the main road, noticing a familiar set of purple hair sitting in a dango stand. Yugugo notices him as well, practically scampering over her bench and beelining towards him. She grabs his hand, before pulling him into the dango stand with herself and the group she is with. Yuzuki-san, what is the rush? She waves airily as they sit down at the table with 3 other girls, whom Ryzen instantly recognizes. Call me Yugao, it's what my friends call me. She flashes him a brilliant smile. Speaking of my friends, girls, this is the man I was just telling you about. Uzumaki-san, these are my friends, Kurenai, Enko, and Hana. Yugao motions her hands to the group. Ryzen nods to each of them, though he falters at Hana. Flashback. Naruto is kneeling in freezing mud as explosions echo around him. He stares at the now lifeless body of his pregnant wife. Sleet falls down his face, dripping onto her face markings from her clan. Her dogs, the 3 brothers, lay dead around the pair, wet blood staining their otherwise snow-white fur. He had killed the shinobi who had murdered his wife hours ago. His grotesque and mangled body lay several yards away. Naruto had run through the poor man, then proceeded to gut the cowardly bastard who had taken his only light left from him. Her blood ran through his fingers, pouring from the gaping hole where her heart used to be. A cold hand touches his shoulder, yet Naruto doesn't move. Naruto, we need to move. He shakes his head, droplets of water flying from his dark locks as he refuses. We were going to have a boy. A boy, Sasuke. I was going to have a son and be a father after all of this. Sasuke's grip on his shoulder gets more firm, as he squeezes his brother's shoulder. A fireball comes right at them, which Sasuke merely flings away with the seals on his katana. Naruto finally lays down her body, before burning it with a katon jutsu. Naruto nods, before flashing away with Sasuke, leaving the ashes of his dead wife to fly in the wind. Flashback end. Ryzen's eyes go slightly wide as he feels his breath hitch in his throat. While the others had been somewhat difficult to get over seeing for the first time, it wasn't an impossible task. Seeing her though, alive again, images of them finding out she was pregnant with their son for the first time floated into his mind. Ryzen is pulled from his thoughts as a very young Enko stands up over the table and points excitedly at his hair. Does that mean you are an actual Uzumaki then? Ryzen blinks, momentarily remembering how exuberant Enko had been in the future. It brought a slight tug to his lips in the form of a smile. Ryzen nods his head in answer to her question. Ryzen turns his head to the young Kurenai. Is it true that you managed to save Uzumaki-kun? I merely got him away from the sandbite before it could kill him. Yu-Gao here is the one who patched him up enough for me to heal him after I defeated the sandbite. The girls go slack-jawed at his nonchalant comment. You didn't really defeat me, Naruto-san. I simply agreed that fighting one another wasn't ideal and we moved on from there. Ryzen nods his head mentally. How skilled would you say you are if you don't mind me asking? That smooth voice almost brought tears to his eyes as it ripped his heart to shreds on the inside. Ryzen feels his body slightly start to shake. He digs his nails into his palm, drawing some blood. He gets up from the table in a rush, trying to control his downward spiral of emotions. A hawk flies over the restaurant at that exact time. Good timing. Always watching at Gigi? If you girls would excuse me, it appears Lord Hokage requires me. With that, Ryzen flashes from the spot, leaving a draft breeze in his wake. The girls look at the spot he was just at, slightly confused. Though one of them was having an intense battle internally. Why did Uzumaki-san look at me so haunted? Why did he smell so familiar as well? One of her triplets, Tetsumi, nudges her with his nose. She reaches a hand down, running her hand along with his ears gently. I'm okay, boy. She whispers, just confused is all. With her mind skewed with strange thoughts, she gets up from the table and starts walking back to her compound, waving bye to her friends as she does so. Ryzen flashes into Hiruzen's room, tears now freely flowing down his face. Hiruzen stands from his chair, opening his arms as Ryzen comes barreling into his chest, gripping his robes tightly in clenched fists. Hiruzen places a soothing hand on his back. She was the one, Ryzen whispers into Hiruzen's chest. Hiruzen nods his head gravely. I know, my boy. I can't imagine the pain of seeing your wife again, even if she doesn't know it. Ryzen falls to his knees, crumpling in on himself. Eventually, he passes out on the floor from exhaustion. Looking with concern, Hiruzen lowers the privacy barriers he had set up beforehand for Ryzen. Hiruzen flares his chakra, one of his Umbu appearing before him. Toru, he says sternly. Toru can feel the seriousness in his tone becoming evident in the atmosphere of the room. That's the Kami no Shinobi for you. Get me, Inoichi Yamanaka, right now. I will not take any excuses in this matter. Tell him this is a Kami-level incident. Toru visibly stiffens, before vanishing from the office. Hiruzen motions for another Umbu to move Ryzen's unconscious body to his sofa, before returning to his paperwork for a moment. Though the signs of concern are visible on his aged face, Inoichi is standing in his plant shop, covering for his daughter for a moment, while she uses the restroom. The shop is empty, though that is to be expected in the mid-morning. Most customers come during the afternoon anyway or when they first open to pick up plant orders. That's why Inoichi was visibly surprised when an Umbu came speeding into his shop, looking very frantic. How can I help you, Toru-san? Toru sees Inoichi behind the counter, before making a beeline for him. Lord Hokage requests your presence. Inoichi shakes his head. Whatever Lord Hokage needs will have to wait a moment until my little girl gets back from the restroom. She just got in there as well, and I'm not about to ask my wife to come out here and cover the front when she has the afternoon shift. That's when Inoichi suddenly feels hands on the front of his black apron. I have been given permission to use lethal force if need be, Yamanaka-sama. This is a Kami-level incident. Inoichi throws his apron off as Toru lets go. Give me a moment, then I will follow you. Toru nods, as Inoichi sprints up the stairs. A second later, Inoichi is running downstairs in his old interrogation coat, his wife right behind him looking for all the world very sleepy. Inoichi nods. Following Toru out of the shop, they take to the roofs, racing to the Hokage tower. After arriving in the room, Toru takes a knee in front of Hiruzen as Inoichi nods to him. You said you needed me for a Kami-level incident, Lord Hokage? Hiruzen nods, raising the privacy barriers. Toru leaves the room as the barrier comes up fully, leaving Hiruzen and Inoichi alone in the room with Ryzen. What I am about to tell you, Inoichi, is an SSS class secret. If you ever even think about talking about this without explicit permission, you will be killed on the spot. Inoichi merely nods, having gotten used to keeping some of the secrets of the Sandaime. They move to Ryzen's body on the sofa. This here is Ryzen Uzumaki. I can't tell you his actual name, for only he may tell you that. I need you to see if he would benefit from post-war therapy in any shape or form. Inoichi nods, preparing his mind for the jutsu when Hiruzen places a hand on his shoulder. Inoichi, there will be things that you see in his mind that even I would falter at. Prepare yourself for this. Now Inoichi takes a serious face. If even Hiruzen is this wary, then this may not be an easy mind walk. Prior to Inoichi being summoned Ryzen's mindscape, Ryzen is curled in front of Kurama, who has his tail protectively around his not-so-furry brother, Kit. A sob is Kurama's only answer. She was the one Kurama. She was the first one to truly accept me for me, even knowing everything I have done in my career, as well as everything that's happened to me. I know Kit. Remember I told you about my maid over 1,000 years ago, how IWA sealed her into a vase before breaking the vase and extinguishing her soul. I know Kurama, you're the only one who would possibly know my pain. You were there inside me when she was killed. Saving me. Kurama merely brings Raizen in closer to his body, watching as Raizen snuggles deeper into his fur. He looks on in sadness, one of the rare times Kurama allows himself to truly portray an emotion besides indifference and being haughty. You don't deserve the burdens you have. Nobody should have the burdens you have, Kit. Outside of the mindscape, Enoichi moved to place his hands on Raizen's head, with Hiruzen's on his shoulder. Shintenshin no Jutsu. Enoichi feels the pull and lets himself be guided into Raizen's mindscape. He steadies himself as nausea tries to consume him. Once composed, Enoichi glances around at his surroundings. He almost pukes at the sight. Ruined buildings lay in rubble and debris, as the gravel crunches beneath his feet. Enoichi glances around to see Hiruzen next to him, almost as pale as a ghost as he stares behind him. Enoichi gulps, then turns around. It's the Hokage monument, though it's in complete shatters. He sees more faces past Minato's, though he can scarcely make them out. The only one semi-recognizable is a lookalike of Kakashi, which while strange isn't entirely impossible. He turns from the monument, to see the various grotesque bodies on the dirty rubble. Bloody body parts lay on the ground, detached from their previous bodies. What is this hell? Enoichi whispers. The blood rushes from his face as he sees what appears to be a much older version of his daughter, her body cold against the rubble she lays against. He drops to his knees in front of her, tracing her blood-stained face with his fingers gently shaking. This, Hiruzen gravely starts, is the mind of a man from a future war where our world is gone and destroyed. I'm sorry the both of you get to see this. I had hoped to keep this locked away from the world. Both of them whirled to see a gaunt and pale-looking Raizen standing behind them, his cloak ripped and dirty. Blood runs down his temple, dripping from his dark hair as he looks towards where the main gate would normally be, but is now mere rubble. You have told me some of what has happened during your time, but to actually see it, Hiruzen takes in all of the grotesque bodies once more, faintly making out many of the shinobi he has worked with before, even some from other villages. This is about 2 years into the start of the war. Suki and AIM combined forces of over 500 jonin plus millions of zetsu. We managed to get most of the civilians out before the attack, though we lost too many. After this battle, only myself, Kiba and Hinata remain from the rear guard. Enoichi can see the visible signs of suppressed PTSD and numerous other mental traumas. I'm surprised he is even standing anymore. Who exactly are you? It's clear now to me that you aren't from this timeline, as much as I find it difficult to believe. This mindscape is too real to be faked. Raizen glances to Hiruzen, who nods minutely. My name is Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. I am the Rokudaime Hokage, as well as leader of the allied forces and host of all 9 Biju. Visible shock lines Enoichi's face, yet he can see it. While the hair color isn't as light as Kushina's, he has the same air about him as Minato did. The same strong determination, yet the same calculating calmness Kushina had in battle as well. Enoichi turns to Hiruzen here, can you help him? Raizen looks startled at the Sandaime, who stares at Enoichi with some desperation. Hokage-sama, you had me go through helping the veterans from the Third War, which was difficult but not impossible. This, however, I'm not sure where I would even begin. Raizen shakes his head as Enoichi finishes. There is no helping me. There isn't anything to be done. The sheer stubbornness in the statement feels more like a challenge to Enoichi than anything. Enoichi stands from his daughter's body, moving in front of Raizen with a finger pointed at him. Now you listen here, you little shit. Nothing is impossible when it comes to healing the mind. I don't give a fucking damn what you say. If I could help heal Tsunade after she lost her fiancé, then I can sure as hell help you. The fierceness in his eyes brings flashbacks to Raizen from Enoichi in his time. Raizen lets a sad smile form on his face. You never changed, Enoichi. Now Enoichi looks at Raizen confused, the same as Hiruzen. You were the exact same in the future. Never leaving someone to struggle by themselves. Memories of a giant-tailed beast bomb being aimed towards the HQ of the Alliance at the time come to the surface, as well as the last stand of the Inoshikacho team. Their loss had hurt the Alliance for some time. The sky in the mindscape starts to crack as the ground slowly starts to rumble. We need to leave. His mind is rejecting us for some reason now, subconsciously. Enoichi takes hold of Hiruzen, forming the hand sign to leave the mindscape. It must be Kurama. He must think you have overstayed your welcome. Hiruzen and Enoichi look flabbergasted at the way Raizen mentions Kurama so nonchalantly. Enoichi finishes his seal, and the two of them vanish from the mindscape. Back outside of the mindscape, Enoichi and Hiruzen come to, nausea slightly unbearable. Raizen sits up on the couch, massaging his temple. Enoichi glances to Hiruzen. As I have said, everything you saw and heard is an SSS class secret. Enoichi merely nods before turning to Raizen, who is barely waking up on the sofa. Is everything we saw true? Enoichi shakes at the mere thought of what he saw in the mindscape. Raizen nods his head in answer to his question. Enoichi takes on the impression of a ghost, looking as pale as he is. Enoichi makes to leave the room, his mind whirling at all of the information he just saw and learned. Enoichi-san, he turns to Raizen, I won't let it happen again. It's why I came back, to change it all. The determination in his voice puts some confidence back into Enoichi, who opens the door with less of a shake in his body. The door closes, and Raizen turns to Hiruzen. You should recall Shiraga and Tsunade. We will need them for the upcoming Chunin exams. Hiruzen whirls to him, eyes wide. What about the Chunin exams? Also, he lets you call him Shiraga? Raizen nods. Him and I were very close. I didn't even know Jiraiya hated the name until he told me to call him that after I called him Arabaka in front of the 5th Mizukage a couple of times. As for the Chunin exams, where do I start? Raizen takes a seat, as he dives into the tale of Orochimaru invading, befriending Gaara as well as Raza dying and everything else. Hiruzen's face turns darker with each passing tale. Eventually, Raizen pauses. Old man, you died during the invasion. Hiruzen just nods, then lets it sink in. Raizen goes on to explain the reanimation jutsu, and how Orochimaru uses it to end up killing Hiruzen. He stands up from his chair, moving to the window. I have lived a long life, Raizen-kun. If I am to die, so be it. Hiruzen's shoulder is firmly grasped, turning him around into the deep blue eyes of Raizen. You aren't going to die on my watch. No one will this time around. I know how to counter anything Orochimaru can throw at us. Hiruzen just nods at the determination in his voice. He gives out a light chuckle as he takes a puff from his pipe. Raizen leaves Hiruzen's office as the sun slowly starts to set, determination filling him. That's right, no matter what, I am here to make sure Madara doesn't take everything again. As he walks down the street, a very familiar small head of yellow locks comes tumbling into him, running with 2 other boys next to him as well. Shikamaru and Kiba. I'm glad they are friends with him. Raizen looks down to see his younger self dusting off his jumpsuit. He springs back up. Hi. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage. Sorry about bumping into you, mister. Raizen feels a smile tug at his lips as he ruffles his smaller counterpart's hair. It's not a problem, young one. I must be going though. I am sure we will meet at a later date. With that, Raizen shuns off the street and into the Uzumaki household, the smile not leaving his face for some time. Naruto should be graduating in the next week or so. As Raizen enters the kitchen to see the girls at the counter, trying to cook dinner, his smile grows. I will protect all of this, no matter what. War Diaries. Naruto grabs Kiba by his hair, dragging him down into the trench as a flurry of kunai sails overhead. You fucking moron! Are you trying to get yourself killed? My girlfriend will have my head if you die, dumbass. Kiba simply slaps Naruto on his back. You don't have to remind me, NAR. But we do need to push through this canyon. Otherwise, the Kori are going to have free supply lines to aim. Naruto nods, as he flies through hand seals before bringing a right-on, lightning storm on the enemies. Static starts to break through the radios. Zen Company, do you copy? This is Buddha Company. Naruto looks to Kiba in shock, before grabbing his radio. This is Zen Company responding. Buddha, are you alright? Naruto, thank God. Listen, this is it for us over here. Take care of Sasuke and Sakura, we all believe in you. Neru. A loud explosion erupts through the radio before it goes silent. A lull in the battlefield soon follows after Naruto enters the tailed beast state, slaughtering the enemy Nins in a rage. Kiba stands in the trench, clenching the radio as snow starts to fall on the ground. Kakashi-sensei. Chapter 7. Hiruzen opens the door to his office early in the morning, closing it gently behind him. He takes out his pipe and looks out the window, taking in the sight of the village under the light of dawn. As he watches the sunrise, a knock on his door sends Hiruzen glaring at the door. Nobody should be at my door this early. Shimi-chan knows better than to not let me have at least an hour before any appointments. The door opens as Danzo walks in, his cane making near silent taps on the wooden floor. Hiruzen cringes as he turns back to the window. Hiruzen. Danzo's gravely voice carries from the door as he moves for the seat in front of Hiruzen's desk. That's Hokage-sama or Lord Third to you, Shimura-san. Danzo doesn't move, aside from sitting down in the chair. Hiruzen finally turns around, making for his own seat. Danzo's lone eye peers at Hiruzen passively. Don't play folly or claim to act more noble than myself, Hiruzen. We both had sullied our hands in the mud, so to speak. Hiruzen turns a baleful eye on Danzo. What is it exactly you want? You never come to my office anymore to merely trade verbal barbs with each other. A soft sigh escapes Danzo. Who is Uzumaki Raizen? Danzo feels the temperature in the room drop nearly tenfold as Hiruzen whirls towards him, a steely gaze leveled at him from the corner of his eye. Where did you learn that name? Hiruzen's voice holds a certain coldness. Though subtle, Danzo picks up on it, feeling fear seep into his bones. What does it matter if I know of the name of a shinobi? Hiruzen signals for his Anbu, 4 of them dropping down from the rafters of the room. This is your one and only warning, Shimura-san. Cease and desist from this matter, or else I will have you executed on high counts of mutiny and treason. Trust me, I have the evidence for both as well. You won't last long in Konoha's courts. Danzo grips his cane more tightly. Hiruzen is gaining more power again. He's finally acting like a Hokage once again. Fuck. This has to be because of this new shinobi he trusts. Danzo makes to stand up, but a firm gloved hand from a purplet Anbu stops him from rising. A kunai lays on his other shoulder. I am serious about this as well, Shimura. Do not test me on this. With that, the kunai is lifted and Danzo walks out of the room, his cane tapping lightly on the floor. He opens the door, stepping out into the dimly lit hallway, shutting the door behind himself. Hiruzen scowls, before motioning one of his umbu forward. Put 2 tails at all times on him. He is planning something. Don't get caught either. The umbu nods, before making a hand sign for Shunshin and flickering out of the room. Hiruzen goes back to his desk, picking up a piece of paperwork while taking a puff from his pipe. He glances at the paper, a petition to add sweets and desserts back into the umbu cafeteria. Hiruzen sighs before stamping the paper with a red no. Today is going to be a long day. Raizen walks into the Sandame's office to see him slowly filling his pipe. He snaps his fingers, putting a little bit of chakra inside the snap and igniting his pipe. Hiruzen takes an appreciative pull from the pipe, before letting out a large cloud. Ah, Raizen-kun. I am glad you are here. Tell me, how are things? We are still waiting on 2 others to arrive. Raizen simply nods, taking a seat on a low sofa in the corner. As he opens his mouth, and walks Itachi and a young Deidara. Man, the fact that Itachi is a woman my age and is that hot, is just so weird. Humph, foolish kid. If you find the vixen mate material, then pursue her already. I don't understand what is holding you back. I don't want to betray Hana. Plus, I used to know Itachi as a guy, so that would make me feel uncomfortable. Though her black eyes and dark long hair certainly are appealing. Raizen nods to the 2 of them, both looking him up and down. Itachi slowly licks her lips and winks at him, before turning her attention to Hiruzen. Raizen stands from the sofa, leaning against the far wall in the office. Itachi-chan, I am going to grant one of your clan's long-term wishes in heed of advice from trusted people. I am going to make you one of 2 ambassadors between us and IWA. While extremely difficult to surprise the Itachi Uchiha, princess of the Uchiha clan, it's not impossible. This would be one of those times. Hiruzen nods his head to Raizen standing in the corner. Raizen-kun here will be the main ambassador for certain reasons he may or may not reveal to you. Deidara-chan is the current IWA ambassador. She is also the granddaughter of their current Sechikage, Anoki. Itachi nods her head mutely, her silky hair swaying with the motion. Deidara looks the Uchiha heiress up and down, before giving an approving nod. You're very pretty, you know. You must have hundreds of suitors lining up for you. Itachi whirls on the young Deidara, who nods her head sagely as if she is completely sure in her statement. Itachi's cheeks turn a slight shade of red, stealing a quick glance to Raizen, before regaining her composure. Why thank you, but you are incorrect. I do not have many suitors due to my role as Uchiha heiress, though I do appreciate your comment. Hiruzen coughs into his hand, gaining the attention of the 2 once again. He hands out a folder to Itachi. In that folder is the current standings on Konoha, as well as my instructions. You 2 may discuss freely what you will, though I do assume you both will report to myself and Anoki respectively. Itachi-chan, make sure you coordinate with Raizen-kun here as well. Though I am afraid I may steal him from you from time to time. Itachi minutely nods her head, before exiting the room with young Deidara in tow. Hiruzen glances over to Raizen, before motioning for his umbu to leave. I don't like that look in Raizen's eye at all. Last time he had that look, he told me about my death. What is it? No nonsense it is then. Have the Uchiha seemed restless lately? Now Hiruzen quirks an eyebrow up at this. He was ready for anything, but this threw him off guard completely, not to my knowledge. The Uchiha seem complacent enough with the police force, though they have been seemingly a little distant as of late from the village. They always have been loners to some extent. Raizen breaks out into a string of curses, startling the ever-living hell out of Hiruzen, who is now sweating bullets. In my timeline, the Uchiha ended up getting slaughtered by Itachi, who is a guy in my timeline mind you, because the village was pushing them away due to the Kyuubi attack, as well as some ministrations from Danzo and Tobi. Tobi? Raizen raises an eyebrow, before turning his head. Obito Uchiha, former teammate of Kakashi. He ends up as a puppet for Madara, as well as Setsu and to a later extent, Kagaya. Kagaya, as in the progenitor of chakra? The one who wanted to eat the chakra tree? Raizen nods, his red tresses swinging over his face with emotion. Hiruzen just stares blankly. Regardless, the Uchiha slaughter left only Sasuke, Itachi's kid brother, alive and thirsty for revenge. If possible, having the Uchiha help in the war would have been beneficial. Besides, not letting Orochimaru gain access to the Sharingan will be helpful as well. Also, you need to remove Danzo completely. Hiruzen's face turns grave, taking a puff from his pipe. The Uchiha get slaughtered? Why? Who would even order such a thing? Raizen just stares at Hiruzen with a heavy sigh, before Hiruzen's mouth forms a giant O in realization. Though I will admit, from what Sasuke told me, you were basically forced to order it by your advisors and Danzo. In my timeline, you had enough going on at the time after coming back out of retirement. It would have been a difficult choice for anyone. Hiruzen merely nods, seeing how the cold composure of Raizen's mask had cracked somewhat. He sees the dark storm of emotions rumble within the young man's eyes and it unsettles him. Perhaps, Raizen-kun, you should go spend some time with some of the other jounin? I'm sure you would know a decent number of them more than likely. You need to take a breather, especially after everything you have done right after coming here. Raizen simply gazes past Hiruzen, watching the early morning sunrise through the sky. A brilliant orange starts to fill the office as Raizen simply nods. Taking a small band from a storage seal on his wrist, Raizen pulls his hair back from his face, forming a small ponytail with some strands sticking free. Honestly, Gigi, I'm more worried about my reaction at seeing some of the others. Or anyone for that matter anymore. You saw how I acted when I saw Hanakoi, damn it. I almost broke down at that table. Hiruzen merely glances at Ryzen, before offering his pipe to the redhead. Ryzen eyes it, before accepting the calm offering. Taking 2 quick puffs, Ryzen hands the pipe back to Hiruzen. I understand your emotions, Ryzen-kun. Truly, I do. If I was in your position and thrust back in time to see Biwako-chan well and alive, but not my Biwako, I am not sure I would fare any better than you are right now. The mere fact that you are here and trying is a sign though. I think Kami-sama has big plans for you. Now go. This is an order if you need it to be. Go to the Jounin lounge, you might even see a friendly face or two. Also, Naruto's Genin exam will be tomorrow with Kakashi and his team. I mentioned to Kakashi I might have someone monitor his test. Would you be interested? Ryzen pauses as he taps his chin, some sweat rolling down from his brow from his mini-episode previously. I suppose I could try. It would help me build a rapport with my younger counterpart. Hiruzen nods before shooing the young yet mature man out of his office, deactivating the privacy seals as he exits. His umbu return to their places as he glances down back at his paperwork. Jiraiya and Tsunade might be able to help him. Maybe Inoichi as well, considering the bags under his eyes. Oh well, I will tell him later. For now, to recall my wayward students. As Hiruzen begins to write on paper, his office door opens again, with someone entering he wasn't expecting. Ah, Anko-chan, how can this old man help you today? Seeing the young purplet always brought both smiles and sadness to his heart, mainly due to his grievance over his traitorous student, Hokage-sama. Inoichi has been kind of weird lately. He keeps rubbing his temples in pain. I've asked him if he is sick, but he keeps shaking his head, saying something about a high-level secret messing with him. Figured I would come ask you if there is a way to help him that you might be aware of? Hiruzen frowns, recalling the scenes they had both witnessed in the time traveler's mind. That is something that, unfortunately, Inoichi will have to face on his own. It's odd circumstances that have many different things going on at the moment. Honestly, I wouldn't be sure how to help him myself, otherwise I would have. I do, however, have something that you could do for me. Now it's Anko's turn to raise an eyebrow, chewing on a dango stick as she does so. What do you need, Hokage-sama? Hiruzen smirks, a beautiful plan forming in his mind. There is a new jounin in the lounge. A redhead by the name of Ryzen. He has been quite lonely lately and having trouble adjusting as well. Perhaps befriend him? Anko simply looks at her leader with a quizzical eyebrow raised, before shrugging. Sure! She chirps, before whirling out of the office, her answer left completely unsatisfied. As Ryzen walks into the lounge, most of the jounin in there he doesn't recognize, though some he does. He waves at the young Hate sitting with the young Rado, Genma as well as Kakashi, Izumo and Kotetsu. On the other side of the room sits a young Kurenai, speaking with what seemed to be an off-duty Yugao, as well as some older female jounin. Ryzen smiles softly as Hate immediately stands up, rushing over to him. He notices the dark lines under Ryzen's eyes, as well as how gaunt and pale he looks. Ryzen! Have you even gotten checked out recently? Man, if my fiancé saw how awful you look, you would be lectured into next week. With near frantic worry, Hate, who most would consider the least healthy amongst the room, was being a mother hen over someone. It sent a wave of shock through the room to say the least. Speaking of fiancés, Yugao chooses this exact moment to turn and see the gaunt and sickly Ryzen being fawned over by a frantic Hate. Rushing over, she shoves Hate out of the way, proceeding to take his place. What in the ever-living fuck is wrong with you? You look like you should have tubes hooked up to you in an umbu facility, not walking around normally. As Yugao proceeds to fuss over him, Kurenai makes her way over as well, walking towards Genma. Why are Yugao and Hate fussing over him so much? He asks. I've never even seen the dude before? Kurenai just looks at Genma. You haven't heard then, have you? Genma merely raises an eyebrow as he twirls the samban in his mouth. That's Uzumaki Ryzen-san. He's the one who saved the squad in Uzushio. Genma's samban falls out of his open mouth as he stares at the now rapidly becoming famous shinobi. He's the one who took on the Biju and lived? A nod. That must make him an S-rank shinobi then, right? He has to be either the strongest or second strongest then in the village, only behind maybe Jiraiya himself. The harsh whisper isn't heard by anyone but Ryzen across the room, who at the moment must ignore the comment of possible fame as Yugao continues to berate him. On another note, why have you not been to a hospital? Especially after that clusterfuck mission. There is no fucking way I believe you didn't come out of that with no injuries. Ryzen's sweat drops as Yugao continues to go off, slightly tuning her out as he takes in the factor that everyone in the lounge is now staring at them, more specifically Yugao. Though if I think about it, they might be staring at me due to the fact that none of them have seen me before. Besides Kurenai, who I met briefly the other day. Suddenly, a wave of nausea rushes over Ryzen as Anko finally walks into the lounge. She takes in the scene of Yugao's mother henning the ever-living hell out of her current target before Yugao spots her. She fiercely grabs his arm, whirling him around and dragging him to Anko. Anko, doesn't he look like he's about to keel over? He looks like he needs to go to the hospital, correct? The daggers coming off of Yugao make Anko seriously take a look at the redhead. Hey, aren't you that dude I saw earlier? The one who got summoned to the Hokage like right away? Raizen nods as Anko fully takes him in, gaunt face with dark circles under his eyes, skin paler than a blanket of snow and bones visible at the skin. Dark red hair that seems to have some dead strands falling from it. I agree with Yugao-chan here, you need to go to the hospital. Like now, though I see what Hokage-sama was saying about him. He doesn't just look unhealthy, I can see some mental issues going on as well, not to mention the loneliness and desperation coming off of him in waves that Anko gets pulled from her thoughts as Raizen wriggles free from Yugao's grasp. From his storage seal on his leg, he pulls a sealing tag from it. It's a good thing I pre-prepared this back in the war in case we came against the curse mark again. Handing the tag to Anko, who has now grabbed the tag in one of his arms while Yugao grabs the other. That tag will get rid of your curse seal, by the way. The room freezes. Anko whirls from dragging him to the door, every intention on forcing him to the hospital. Yugao's grip loosens as her eyes bug out at him. You're serious? The pure cold in her voice froze the room even colder. Raizen just nods. Just like back in my timeline, same old Anko. Same defensive mask. Lord Hokage asked me to break the seal for you once I got back from my mission. Took me all night to do it, but I got it down once I was able to see some of the notes Orochimaru had on the seal. Once I had those, it was fairly easy. Oh, and Yugao, thanks for worrying, but I will be fine. Don't worry. With that, Raizen shunshuns out of the lounge, leaving everyone present standing there speechless as a small breeze picks up in the lounge. I like him. Everyone glances at Kakashi, who has his infamous orange book in hand. Of course you fucking would, Lazayashi. He's just like you in his hatred for hospitals. With that, Anko and Yugao storm out of the office, presumably to go hunt for the redhead. Hate smiles at Kakashi apologetically, before taking off after the pair. Hana-chan. Hana turns to see Hate, Yugao, and Anko rushing to her. She chuckles as they pull up short, slightly out of breath. The triplets rush to the trio, each one rubbing against their legs. They smile and pet the triplets, before standing upright. We need your help, Hana-chan. Hana glances at Yugao with a raised eyebrow. She crosses her arms with a small smirk on her face. Oh? The mighty Umbu operative needs a lowly medic needs help? A light laugh escapes Hana as Yugao glowers at her. This is serious, Hana-chan. Our friend needs to go to the hospital but won't. Now Hana's face turns serious. Who, I swear if it's Kakashi again, I am going to ring that fucker's goddamn any. It's Uzumaki Raizen. Hana blinks. The redhead I introduced to you briefly the other day. Ah. The one who kept setting my senses off and smelled so familiar, yet I had never seen him before. What's wrong with him exactly? He looks sick, too sick. Also, he didn't even check into the hospital after the mission with myself, Hate, and Asuma. Hana narrows her eyes as her more primal instincts flare up, nearly sending her careening into the dirt as they scream to run to him as if he was. Hana shakes her head. No, he can't be my mate. I haven't spent more than 5 minutes with him. Finding a mate requires you to spend significant time with the person, not to mention I have to talk to them without them nearly running scared at the sight of me. There's nothing. A loud snapping of fingers in her face brings her out of her inner dialogue, forcing her to focus on the world once more. Earth to Hana-chan? She shakes her head again, before nodding. Sure, I think I vaguely remember what he smells like. I might be able to help you sniff him out. With the strange emotions running through her, the group takes to the roofs in search of the missing redhead. Hours later, the group eventually winds up at the Uzumaki residence as the color in the sky turns orange. Raizen sits on the archway of the compound, having expected them to come find him eventually. A frown mars his features as he recalls just how nosy some of them can be. He shakes his head, his red mane flowing in the small evening breeze. The quartet looks up to see him sitting on the archway, staring at the sunset. I assume the 4 of you are here to inquire after my health? While not present, the 4 of them swear they can hear a faint sense of sass in his tone. Nonetheless, they nod as he jumps down from the archway, landing in front of them. Raizen proceeds to walk inside, the trio of sisters running outside. Oni-chan. Raizen braces himself as 3 mops of red hair throw themselves at him, tackling him to the ground. He chuckles lightly as the 3 sisters peek out from on top of him, taking in the new people. Upon seeing Yugogo's purple hair, a cry of Oni-chan echoes through the courtyard as they throw themselves at the purplet, who falls to the ground in a large dust cloud. She smiles at the trio of red hair, ruffling the hair of Taiyuya, who pouts up at her. They drag her up to the ground, before whisking her away into the compound. Raizen smiles, before turning to the remaining 3 people there. Hate storms up to him, a frown marring his face. You need to go to the hospital. Raizen lifts an eyebrow. It's obvious you are sick, that much is apparent. Have you seen yourself in the mirror lately? Yugogo calls from within the compound somewhere. Most likely the kitchen helping those 3 make food. Raizen's sweat drops at the sudden modern coming form Yugao, yet swivels his gaze back to the 3 in front of him. Listen, I am perfectly fine. I'm just a little exhausted from all of the missions I have been on lately. If you really need to know, I must direct you to Lord Hokage, since most of my missions prior to working with the Sumasan are S-rank and classified. The trio merely nods, yet Anko's stare seemingly peers into Raizen's soul. Raizen beckons them inside, to where the sweet smell of steak and stir-fry flows on the breeze outside. Ryzen looks back to see the trio drooling at the smell. Teaching the kids some of my more famous recipes from my time working with Choji in the kitchen has paid off. Those three will make great cooks one day. With that thought, Ryzen marches inside up the mahogany stairs, the trio of food-entranced ninja behind him following. War Diaries. Numerous white setsu flood the trenches as Sasuke parries a sword from a ranged shinobi. Gah. These motherfuckers don't know when to quit when they are beaten, do they? Naruto pants from beside him as he cuts down 3 white setsu with kunai. They are mindless drones, dope. They don't know any better, just like how you don't know any better when it comes to cooking anything different from ramen. Naruto glares at Sasuke, who merely smirks back at him. Insufferable bastard. Naruto conjures a lava Rasen shuriken from his chakra, hurling it downrange. The loud WRR zooms through the battlefield, effectively taking out 30% of the enemy. They fall back, fleeing from their trenches in droves. After a few minutes, the small clearing inside of the large forest deep in Earth Country comes to a quiet as Allied forces walk about. Numerous medics drop into the trenches, carrying many injured shinobi out. Kakashi drops next to the 2 main figures of the war, putting a hand on both of their shoulders. Whipping out an Ika, through the forest, Kakashi moves in front of them. You two did a good job holding the frost front and pushing them out of here. Now that Konoha is linked to Kuma, we can get supplies through more easily. You two have done well. Naruto and Sasuke both nod to their old sensei, when a messenger comes running up to them. Taicho's, a message from the swamp front. They push back the enemy there as well, but at a large cost. We lost Lord Han as well as Lord Inoki fighting Tobi and Madara. A heavy silence fills the field once more at the thought that another Jinchuriki is lost to the enemies. Fuck. Chapter 8. Walking through the market, Ryzen glances in the stalls with his basket around his arm. Stopping in front of one of the stalls, he notices a set of ink from Iron Country, as well as a brush with it. Looking up to the shopkeeper, he points to the set. How much? The shopkeeper gives him a warm smile, taking the set and handing it to Ryzen. 40,000 yen for the whole set, good sir. Ryzen nods, whipping out the correct notes from a storage seal on his wrist. He hands the notes to the shopkeeper, before carefully storing the set back in his wrist. I haven't used Iron Country ink since before the war started. The last time I was able to use some was from the birthday present Erosen and got me shaking his head. He moves through the rest of the market, intent on getting the groceries needed for the week. Leaving the market, the early morning dew seems to cling to his person as Ryzen makes his way back to the compound. Upon entering, he drops the groceries off on the countertop. He nods, content before moving back out of the compound. Careful to avoid the few chakra presences he feels watching for him like a hawk, he shuntions in front of the Hokage tower. Walking up to Hiruzen's office, Ryzen nods to the few jonin he passes, most he has met in the past few days. Having gotten closer to the sensei from his generation, as well as his old friends, has made him remember why exactly he came back in the past. I'm here to protect them all, not to start a new life merely for myself. I have to convince the old man to bring Tsunade. Opening the office doors, he walks into the one person he had just been thinking about. Literally, he bounces off Tsunade as she stumbles back into the office. He holds back the urge to simply lunge at the Godame and embrace her. Her wisdom had always been a welcome thing in his time, as well as the fact she had been a great drinking friend. Her death had hit him hard. He dusts his coat off, before giving a small smile to her. Ah, my apologies. I was lost in thought. Reaching a hand down, he helps pull a decidedly irate Tsunade, who calms down enough to take in the appearance of the redhead. He had dark bags under his eyes and a ghostly complexion worse than those she sees in Iron Country, yet a tranquil aura around him that sets her at ease. Wait, red hair? Is this the one sensei just talked to me? A cough erupts from behind the two, where Hiruzen sits with a smile on his face. I was just about to summon you, Ryzen-kun. Tsunade, why don't you come back here for a moment? While he leaves it as a question, the tone in his voice leaves little room for argument. She sighs, having wished to really not talk to her sensei more after having been summoned back to the village. Ryzen fully enters the room, finally noticing the last occupant in the office. The white hair is the first thing he sees, yet it's all he can do to keep himself from tackling his godfather to the ground. Hokage-sama, I know you said you wanted to talk again yesterday, but this Hiruzen shakes his head, pointing to the couch in the corner of his office. Ryzen begrudgingly sits, his arms crossed in a position resembling a pout. Sensei, who is this? Tsunade gives Hiruzen a pointed look. I have never seen this person before, so there better be a good explanation. Hiruzen sighs at his sole female student, pinching the bridge of his nose. He waves for the Umbu to leave, before raising a privacy barrier in his office. Ryzen-kun, as I am sure you are aware, it is customary for all deep undercover operatives to get a full medical checkup upon their return. Since your mission was so long, not to mention dangerous, I have asked Swanda to examine you and see what needs to be done. She has agreed to at least do a preliminary examination, before deciding on what should be done. Here he nods to Swanda, who simply looks at Ryzen. He doesn't look like that much. Why would Sensei even send this scrawny guy out on a top-secret mission? One so secret he won't even tell me or Jiraiya? Tsunade stands, moving in front of Ryzen. Alright, tough guy, shirt off and lay on the couch over there. Might as well get it over with. Ryzen nods, a somber expression on his face, recalling Swanda's death at Madara's hands. Jiraiya notices his expression, causing him to raise an eyebrow in suspicion. Raizen takes off his shirt, the numerous scars and tattoos visible for the world to see. Tsunade activates her diagnostic jutsu, her eyes roaming over the various scar tissues along his broad back. She pulls back, a depressive aura starting to set in the room, radiating off of Raizen. You have numerous scars and burns that never healed fully or properly, not to mention some minor damage to your spine. It's also obvious you have some sort of mental trauma, which would require therapy with myself, unless Inoichi is up to the task, and last I heard he's retired. She glances back at Jiraiya, who is watching Raizen with a suspicious look. She frowns, before turning back to Raizen. Come see me tomorrow so we can set up a schedule. She turns to Hiruzen. I'll see you later, sensei. Also, I'm taking the pervert here with me to the hospital. I'll think about what you asked me earlier. With that, she grabs Jiraiya by the ear, proceeding to drag him out of the office as Raizen puts his shirt back on. The door slams shut behind them, dust rattling from the hinges. A silence falls onto the room, the only sound coming from Hiruzen as he lights his pipe. Suddenly, Raizen clutches his chest, his breathing ragged and irregular. Panic and hysteria slowly set in, taking control of his body as he free falls to the floor. Hiruzen bolts from behind his deck in alarm, sliding to a kneel next to Raizen, who has proceeded to involuntarily give up his breakfast in the morning. His body racks with pain, making him feel as if he was going into cardiac arrest. Unsure of how to help, Hiruzen lays a hand on his back, trying to comfort the broken warrior. The two of them sit there until they lost track of time. Raizen stands shakily, before he is moved to the chair nearby. We never found the pervert's body after he died in AIM, and we couldn't get to Tsunade's before she was reanimated against us. I killed her reanimated corpse as she shed tears on my sword Gigi. Tears start to make their way out of Raizen's eyes, as Hiruzen simply lights his pipe. His hat darkens his face, shading his eyes as the embers from the pipe fly out from the breeze, landing on the desk. When Tobirama-sensei sacrificed himself against the S-rank Kumo death squad, I held back my tears all the way to my small apartment with Biwako at the time. When I had finally gotten back, I collapsed into her arms, wailing my heart out to the only person I could. It was the next day I was sworn in as Sandaime, a hat I have worn for quite some time now. While we always know the ultimate sacrifice is a real thing in war, it's something that we deal with. As someone who has commanded troops in wartime, I know the mental toll it takes to send troops out. Raizen nods, his fists balled at his sides. How did you deal with it? The question barely comes out above a whisper, the same kind of whisper one would expect to hear on a silent night of grieving. No matter how hard I try, every turn I take, I am reminded of everyone I failed to save. Hiruzen nods, about to speak, before a knock on the door resonates through the room. Hiruzen motions with his head to his private office, where Raizen makes his way, albeit very shaky, before collapsing from exhaustion behind the door. Hiruzen sighs in understanding, having done the same many nights after the Third War ended. The door creaks open, swinging across the oak floor as a wooden cane taps across the threshold. Danzo nods to Hiruzen, before closing the door gently behind him. I don't recall giving you access to my office while I was in a meeting, Shimura-san. Danzo goes straight from the reprimand, his lone eye narrowing on his once long-time friend. I simply have something I wish to confirm, if you would allow it, Hokage-sama. Is it true the Uzumaki clan is back in Konoha? As a full clan with potential to come back to full strength? Hiruzen merely stares at Danzo, which is answer enough for him. I see. Well, I hope you have plans to use them correctly. Putting those young females in the CRA would certainly crack. The desk shatters in half as Hiruzen stands, the pressure in the room increasing over tenfold. Before Hiruzen can say anything, however, the door opens from the side to reveal a very upset and downright pissed off redhead Uzumaki. You fucking touch them and I will rip you to so many shreds. Kami-sama will have trouble finding your remains to send to hell, you fucking pig. Danzo looks up in alarm, before grimacing. See what I mean, Hiruzen? You need to keep these damn Uzumaki under control. You couldn't even keep Kushina under control. What's to say you can do so? With the Hiruzen storms up to Danzo, physically grabbing hold of him. He shoves him through the closed door, startling the secretary and Umbu standing outside. Leave, and never enter this tower without my summoning again. Also, if you touch those children, I will have you drawn and quartered. Hiruzen motions for the Umbu to take him away, which they do. Hiruzen turns around, to see Raizen has already vanished. Shit, things could go badly very quickly. Raizen sprints across the rooftops, the wind pushing him along as he unlocks his resistance seals on his body. He comes screaming to a halt, however, as silver hair flashes in front of him. A younger Kakashi, who is being followed by Team 7 of all the fucking people, appears in front of him with his book out. Ma Uzumaki-san, I presume? I have heard quite a bit about you from Asuma. May I ask what the rush is? The glint in his eye, however, tells Raizen all he needs to know. Tell Kakashi what is going on, or there will be consequences. The problem is that the Uzumaki sisters I took in could possibly be kidnapped, or worse, and I have to get back there now. I knew I should have fucking tagged the damn compound. Hitaki-san, as much as I would love to stay around and chat, I do have somewhere to be, so if you could kindly move out of the way. Raizen allows his hand to drift inside his coat, which Kakashi immediately notices. Before either can do something, however, Naruto jumps in front of the two. Hey! You can't just go talking to sensei like that, you big jerk. Even if he only has been our sensei for a short bit, you still can't talk to him like that. Also, how can you have the same last name as me? Ryzen sighs. This is too fucking troublesome. A certain Nara sneezes on the other side of the village just as Ryzen pulls a tri-pronged kunai from inside his coat. I'm sorry, all four of you. I will make it up to you later, I promise. His promise gets whispered onto the wind, carrying itself from chakra as Ryzen flickers behind them, leaving only a white trail in his wake. Kakashi narrows his eyes, before closing his book shut. Come, my little pups. Let's go see our venerable Hokage. Maybe we can get another mission from him. As well as get some answers. Whoever that is, shares a close enough chakra source that I can tell they are relatives of Naruto. Maybe Kushina-sama had a brother? Regardless, the fact they didn't take care of him, Kakashi's mood darkens. Not that Team 7 notices. Arriving at his compound, Ryzen immediately notices the chakra presence of 4 shinobi lurking on top of his house. A scowl forms across his face as the wind from the darkening weather sends his Haori fluttering. Running through hand signs, he finally lands on the bird's sign. With a deep inhale, he jumps as high in the air as he can. Wind style, devastating vacuum. As a torrent of wind suddenly lifts the shinobi high into the air, Ryzen springs into action. Drawing the katana on his side, he goes into sage mode thanks to Kurama. He jumps to the first root shinobi, immediately blitzing through the pathetic defense he puts up while in the air. The shinobi loses the privilege of having a head the next instant. A red fountain of liquid spluttering over Ryzen, darkening his face. He grins the smile of the devil, as he cancels his jutsu. Going through one-handed seals, he coats his katana in water chakra, before freezing it with wind chakra. The icy layer sets the area into a chill the likes that the root shinobi have never seen. Ryzen summons 20 shadow clones, willing them into existence without the use of hand signs. Lay down your weapons and I will spare you as if I don't feel like gutting you pigs first. Ryzen spits the last part out as he finally recognizes one of the root. A younger version of who he knows to be Shin, Sai's older brother. Shin glances to the 2 other root, obviously looking for guidance. Ryzen watches them warily. A flash of red with a strange pattern in the eyes is the only warning Ryzen has, before he shuts his eyes closed. Kurama? Yes, kid? Are you not done with those pathetic weaklings who tried to take your family from you? One of them is an Uchiha. They must have died on a mission in our timeline then, because either you or myself have any recollection of an Uchiha in root forces, at any point. I don't sense anything special about the other one, so they can die. As much as I want to keep this timeline clean, I think we are past that point already, partner? Kurama nods his head from inside the seal as Ryzen dashes into action. Sweeping his leg out, Ryzen sends the unknown Uchiha sprawling to the ground. With a quick paralysis seal, it renders the Uchiha immobile. Sidestepping an overhead sword strike from Shin, Ryzen glances up at him. Still crouched, he lashes out with his leg, sending Shin some meters back and off the roof of the compound. A loud thud comes from below, bringing a pause to the fighting. Ryzen finally stands from his crouch, putting his foot on the paralyzed Uchiha. He glances to the last root, who Ryzen can feel is shaking with fear. You think this is bad? You think this is the worst in the world? The root drops his sword as it clatters out of his shaking hands, sending him sprawling on his ass from lack of motor control. Ryzen doesn't pay him more attention as Umbus slowly converge onto the roof, minutes after the fight has already taken place. Ryzen recognizes the purple hair of the lead Umbu. Images of a bloodied sword being wiped clean on the purplet's hair as a sheath flood Ryzen's mind, yet he pays them no attention. My apologies, Umbu-san, but I will not be turning these 3 over to you as of yet. As one of Ryzen's clone comes back onto the roof, with Shin also in a paralysis seal, I will be needing them as proof that root still exists, as well as for when I summon the council to discuss this event. Yugogo takes a step forward, her hand resting on her kunai pouch. She fingers it idly, her mask moving up and down as she no doubt is sizing him up. Citizens and shinobi don't possess the right to hold prisoners, even if they were the ones who were attacked. I'm afraid I will have to ask you to hand them over, Ryzen sighs, before shaking his head. Look, you owe me, so just drop it. I have an inkling as to their identities and I have a plan on what to do with them. You're more than welcome to accompany me if you wish, but I'm not releasing them. Yubigo sizes Ryzen up, seeing the dark look in his eyes. She nods her head in acquiescence, before motioning for the rest of the Umbu to leave. I am only doing this because I owe you for saving all of our asses on the mission, got it? She takes her mask off, her clothes vanishing into a normal Jounin uniform. Ryzen nods, as he stretches his chakra out over the village, searching for Itachi's chakra signature. Once he locates it, along with one Shursui Uchiha, he nods to his clones, picking up the Uchiha underneath him and carrying her over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. My clone is going to take the young one to my compound. There is a chance we can remove his seal since he is young enough. Same with this one, though there is someone we need to talk to first. Sealing the unconscious and bound Uchiha into his shoulder, he nods to himself before making for Itachi. Some time passes, as both Ryzen and Yugogo finally reach the nice restaurant district of Konoha. Man, I have a feeling she might be on a date, and I am going to feel like a complete asshole, but this takes precedence. Indeed it does, Kit. Love and romance will always come second to things related to saving the world, After all, you know that lesson the best. He motions for Yugago to wait outside, as he opens the glass doors quietly. A young host walks up to him quickly, bowing in front of him. Honorable Shinobi-san, it is an honor to serve you at the Leaping Mantis. How many for this evening? His voice comes out smooth as silk, holding the bow a touch longer than normal. Raizen smiles quietly at the young civilian. I am actually here on shinobi business, my young friend. Would you mind showing me where Uchiha-sama is? I need to speak with her somewhat urgently. The young host nods, his long brown hair moving from the sudden movement. He leads the way through the maze of fancy tables. Finally, he points to a quiet table in the corner near the window on the second floor. That table there, sir. Anything else? Raizen waves his hand, calmly approaching the table. The young host makes his way back into the first floor of the noisy restaurant, leaving Raizen alone. Itachi glances behind her, finally acknowledging the presence of the time-traveling Uzumaki. Reaching the table, Raizen nods to Itachi, before taking in the young Shursui Uchiha holding her hand rather tightly, as if afraid he is here to try and steal her from him. Itachi-san, pardon my rudeness. I also offer my sincere apologies to your boyfriend, however I do have something I need to speak with yourself and clan leader about. It is somewhat urgent, I am afraid. Itachi waves her hand nonchalantly, already standing from the table. This is my boyfriend, Shursui Uchiha. Some call him by the moniker, Shursui of the Body Flicker, though I am sure someone as knowledgeable as you is aware of this. Also, no offense taken. We were already done dining, merely discussing life. If it wasn't urgent, I doubt you would have sought myself out. Come, let us head to the compound. Raizen nods, following the young couple's lead out of the restaurant. Dusk slowly settles upon the village as they exit the restaurant, Yugago waiting outside for them. Itachi-chan? Yugago-chan? What are you doing here? She merely points to Raizen, shaking her head. Better to talk at the compound with Mikoto-sama. Her and the elders need to speak with Raizen here, that's for sure. With that, the quartet make their way across the village. The moon slowly rises over the trees, as a soft breeze flows through the quiet village. The group reaches the compound, two guards perk to attention at the gate as they see the heiress and company approach. Welcome back, Itachi-sama. I see you have some friends? The one on the right chuckles lightly, waving to his son Shursui. How was the date, son? I hope you treated Itachi-sama well as always. Shursui nods. Of course, father. I would never treat her any less. A small smile forms on Itachi's lips, slightly gripping her boyfriend's hand harder. Come, we should go see my mother before it gets any later. I am sure she is expecting us by now. Raizen nods to the two guards, moving past them and following Itachi. They reach the main family's house. Itachi slowly opens the pane, careful to not rip the paper. Mother, I am home with some company who wishes to speak with you. Mikoto raises her head from the scroll she was reading, surprise evident in her eyes. Shursui bows low at the waist. It's a pleasure to see you as always, Mikoto-sama. Mikoto gets up from her chair, before ruffling Shursui's hair playfully. It's good to see you as well, kiddo. Now why don't you introduce me to this young man? I know Yugago-chan, of course. Yugago bows, a smile on her face. Mother, this is Raizen Uzumaki, new jonin as well as the current leader of the Uzumaki clan. Mikoto's eyebrows raise at this, a new light in her eyes. Uzumaki, you wouldn't happen to have known anyone by the name of Kushina now, would you? Raizen's face turns into a soft smile, sadness etching his face. I presume you are asking if I know my niece, and yes, I am aware she was here before she died. I am currently trying to help those remaining, though that is not why I am here this evening, Mikoto-sama. May we speak privately? Mikoto nods, walking to her office. Itachi and Shursui stay. I hope you don't mind? Raizen shakes his head, following her lead into her office. They enter into a small room, a few candles lighting the room. The door closes behind the four, as Yugago simply stays in the shadows of the room. What I am about to show you, Mikoto-sama, is something that I ran across today. Tree roots certainly like to spring up into the ground at the worst of times, but this was a surprise to say the least. Mikoto narrows her eyes, obviously catching on to the analogy there. Raizen unseals the unconscious female Uchiha, laying her gently on the ground. A pin could have dropped in the room and it would have been heard in the silence, as the three Uchiha stare at the masked root. Raizen removes her mask, revealing an almost identical twin to Shursui, who is standing behind Mikoto. He snarls, his tanto already in his hand as he lunges at the Uzumaki. I'll kill you for even touching my younger sister. How dare you take her so young, you motherfucker! I will slaughter you! He makes it halfway across the room, before he is grabbed out of the air by Mikoto and Itachi, both who are holding back tears. Tears flow freely from Shursui, who struggles in their grasp violently. He kicks and swings his tanto, using every move he knows from Anbu to try and escape their grasp, to no avail. Mikoto places a tender hand on Shursui's face, pulling his attention to her. Shursui, I understand your feelings, but you must be silent for now. Allow me to figure things out. As clan leader, it is my duty to figure this all out. I will take care of you and your family. You have always had this promise from me. Shursui nods, the rage boiling inside him rushing through his body, making his veins pop out visibly under his skin. He slowly calms down, though tears are still flowing freely from his eyes. Michiko, you're alive. He sniffs, before he glares at Raizen. Shursei-kun, I know how you feel. If Sasuke had ever been kidnapped, and I suddenly got him back, I would be upset as well. Uzumaki-sama will explain, just let him. She brushes the top of his hand gently, pulling her closer into his embrace. The two of them sink to the ground as Mikoto slowly lets go of the calm Shursei, who has started sobbing into Itachi's shoulder. Itachi nods to her mom, before exiting the room with her emotional boyfriend. My apologies, Uzumaki-san. Please do not take offense to my clan member's actions. That is his younger sister, who we thought was kidnapped by Kiri and dead for quite some time. To find out she is not only alive but in root of all places, her voice trails off as she reaches down, placing a gentle hand on the side of her face. Oh, you poor angel, tears well up in her eyes before she stands up fully. I am aware that she is more than likely sealed. Uzumaki-san, if you are anywhere near as skilled as your clan is known for in Fuinjutsu, can you save her? Please, if you can unseal Michiko, the Uchiha clan would be forever in your debt. Ryzen moves to a chair nearby, sitting down as the weight of secrets slowly fatigues him more. There are many variables to consider. Even if Danzo wasn't in the picture, there is no telling that she will be the same person as before. Hell, I don't even know if she would remember who she is at all. There are many risks involved in this, not to mention I don't know how the Sandane would react for that matter. Ryzen places his chin in his hand, resting his elbow on the small table in front of him. Mikoto nods, her hair swaying with the movement. I understand what I am asking of you is a large favor, as well as a monumental task. If you have a price, name it, and Ryzen shakes his head, his bangs slowly covering his eyes as Mikoto stops mid-sentence. I won't accept payment if I am to do it, just the fact that someone isn't under this inhuman seal would be enough for me. Kit. Ryzen holds up a hand apologetically, before closing his eyes for a moment. Kurama? Save the Uchiha, Kit. Damn the consequences of the world that may come later, we are here to save as many as we can. Saving this Uchiha now, who has the Manjikyu, could prove beneficial later on. Bring a Yamanaka into this, that could help as well. Ryzen nods to himself, slowly opening his eyes to a patiently waiting Mikoto. My apologies, I was thinking of something. I will do my best, though I do have one request if I am to attempt to unseal her. Mikoto smiles, already nodding her head. Whatever your request is, I shall grant it if it's within my powers. I would like to bring a Yamanaka into this, in case the sealing goes wrong. Mikoto stares at Ryzen, before raising an eyebrow at his request. Very well, we shall go see a Yamanaka before you perform the sealing. Chapter 9. The sun slowly rises in the dusk sky as a red-haired Uzumaki and a young teenage female Uchiha darken the doorstep of the Yamanaka clan compound. Ryzen sweeps his long hair back into a messy topknot to keep his bangs out of his eyes and glances down to his companion, one Itachi Uchiha, as they wait for a guard to answer the door. A young male about Itachi's height swings the compound's door open, his eyes drooping from his long shift. Can I help you? He asks, his voice tired and drowsy. Ryzen gives him a weary smile. We would like to speak to Inoichi. It is somewhat urgent, I'm afraid. The guard looks at the two of them, before he sighs wearily. Follow me, he should be up by now making breakfast, I believe. The pair nod to the guard as he opens the door further, allowing the two inside. Thunder slowly rumbles in the sky, the small pitter-patter of rain on the cobblestone being the only sound in the compound as the guard leads them to Inoichi's door. The guard knocks, muffled footsteps patting their way to the door. The door opens to reveal Inoichi, coffee mug in hand and a dark robe around his body. Ah, Genri-san. I see you have brought me some surprise guests this morning. Itachi-chan, it's good to see you as always. But you are. Ryzen steps forward, stretching his hand out. Inoichi grabs the hand gently and shakes it. Uzumaki Ryzen, though you can just call me Ryzen if you wish. Inoichi nods, motioning the two inside and dismissing the guard. The door closes as both Ryzen and Itachi step inside, the rain pelting outside the door quietly. The trio make their way to the oak table in the kitchen, sitting down in the comfy chairs. Pardon our intrusion this early in the morning, Inoichi-sama. Ryzen bows from his seat, Inoichi already waving him off. It is too early for formalities, not that I am much for them anyways at normal hours. Now, what can I do for the two of you? Ryzen glances at Itachi, who dips her chin minutely at him. Ryzen sighs, pinching the bridge of his nose in obvious hesitation before relenting. He motions for her to go ahead. What I am about to tell you is something Hiruzen has no knowledge of. At least, not right now anyways. He will be informed later, but for the moment we don't want him in the loop. She begins. Inoichi merely nods, already having been familiar with keeping things from the Hokage. As the old head therapist, patient confidentiality is something he is intimately familiar with. Well, if you have come to me, I presume it has something to do with the mind somehow. Otherwise, you probably would have gone to Shikaku. Ryzen merely shrugs, his face losing some stress lines as he gets more comfortable. Inoichi was extremely intelligent, even back in my time. It's no surprise he has somewhat guessed as to why we are here already. First, allow me to pose a question. How familiar are you with Danzo's dealings? Ryzen's question drops the temperature in the room quickly. Inoichi's eyes widen before realization sets in. His expression darkens, a frown starting to settle. I see now why you have yet to involve Hiruzen. To answer your question, I am well aware of what Danzo has done. I assume you are referring to Root? Ryzen and Itachi both nod. Ryzen fought several shinobi with blank face masks and silencing seals on the back of their tongues. One of the nin whom he fought is an Uchiha Shursui's younger sister, she explains. Inoichi simply stares at the pair across from him as he takes a small sip of coffee. We have her restrained and unconscious currently in the Uchiha compound. We were hoping to ask for your assistance in making sure none of her memories are damaged and to keep her brain healthy during the unsealing. Inoichi nods, about to speak before his wife enters the room. Honey, who is it? Inoichi's wife, Asego, walks down the stairs in a light purple robe. Her eyes are half lidded with sleep as she almost stumbles down the stairs. It's Uchiha Itachi and her friend, Uzumaki Ryzen. Her eyes go wide at Ryzen's name, or rather clan name. Uzumaki? By any chance are you? Ryzen is already shaking his head in exasperation. Related to Kushina? No, not directly anyways. She was my niece, though I am trying to help any other Uzumakis that I find. It's a pleasure to meet you, however. She nods, scuttling into the living room to give the group their privacy. With his wife out of earshot, Inoichi turned back to his guests. As I was about to say, I don't mind helping out. When are you thinking of doing this? We were hoping you wouldn't mind coming over this evening after dinner? Itachi's answer gains a nod from Inoichi as he moves to stand. Ryzen and Itachi both stand as well. Then I shall see you later this evening. Ryzen and Itachi nod, heading for the door and opening it. Ryzen makes his way out, but Itachi lingers for a moment longer. Thank you, Inoichi-sama. Her words are whispers on the breeze, just loud enough for Inoichi to barely make them out. The warmth from the rays of the sun beats down on the pair, as they slowly walk down the market street. Many civilians and shinobi alike mill about, getting some early shopping done before the afternoon crowds swarm the market. Ryzen and Itachi walk in silence comfortably, enjoying a moment of peace. Finally coming up on the Uzumaki compound, Ryzen nods to Itachi politely. Before he can say goodbye, he runs into a young Deidara. Hey, you're that red-haired guy who's supposed to be the main ambassador between IWA and Konoha. Where have you been? It's just been me and Itachi at the meetings lately. No offense, Itachi-chan. Itachi waves her hand politely, a fond smile on her face as she gazes at the young teen. I'm sorry for not being there as of late, as I have had other matters to attend to. If you wish, we could talk some more in my compound over breakfast? With that, Ryzen proceeds to step inside the compound. Glancing behind him, he sees the bubbly Deidara taking everything in, with a stoic Itachi beside her. He smiles to himself, content to see the innocent side of someone so young. Walking inside the house, Ryzen is immediately tackled to the ground by 3 fluffs of red hair. Chuckling quietly, he rubs all their heads in fondness. I take it you 3 are hungry? Getting 3 choruses of agreement, he gently pushes himself up, the 3 kids clinging to him as he does so. Ignoring the blatant chuckle from Deidara and pointed stare from Itachi, he proceeds to wade to the kitchen. Untangling himself from the mess of small limbs and red hair, Ryzen starts the stove as the rest of the group moves to the large table. For what it's worth, I am sincerely apologetic for my absences. Would you mind filling me in? Also, how do you like your eggs? Deidara smiles, waving his apology off nonchalantly. Oh, don't worry about it. I get it. Being one of the more important ninjas of this village must mean you are like super duper busy with stuff. Also, scrambled but leave the shells in please. Ryzen stares at Deidara in bewilderment for a few seconds, before shrugging and getting to work. After all, Sasuke ate his eggs raw and Sakura always needed hers in the shape of a sakura flower with honey and pepper on it. Shivering, Ryzen clears his head as he listens to Deidara recall the negotiations up to now. So basically IWA is aiming to be allies, right? I mean, yeah, I know I shouldn't be outright telling you that, but come on. Someone has to start off with the intent to be allies and I doubt you lot would do it, so why not? We also want to trade our mountain spices at a lower price in exchange for lower priced chakra wood from you all. This is all we have gotten through in our last couple meetings, as the prices took a really long time to decipher and match. I never realized Iwa's currency was so different from Konoha. Ryzen nods as Deidara continues her bubbly explanation. Oh, and then Gigi sent me a message saying that I need to keep my attitude and sass in line. Like, PSH as if I have any attitude. I can be totally professional when I need to be. Just ask Itachi-san, she can totally tell you how professional I have been. Ryzen turns his head, placing her plate of eggs in front of her, as he glances briefly over to Itachi, who dips her head in agreement to her companion's words. Well, it certainly sounds as if you two have the negotiations going smoothly. Deidara-san, what would you say? Deidara springs up from her chair in irritation. It's just Deidara. Got it. Ryzen gulps as it seems like her blue eyes seemingly catch on fire. He nods, and she sits back down. Ahem. Anyways, Deidara, what would you say to a team switching between our 2 villages? Crickets could be heard behind the quiet munch of bacon and eggs from the 3 kids as Deidara stares at Ryzen blankly. Even Itachi, behind her stoic demeanor, still seems somewhat puzzled. Ryzen looks around the table, confused with a raised eyebrow. What, ish not like ish a boat idea? Ryzen almost chokes on his bacon, as Deidara processes the idea. I'm not sure. In theory, yes, it's been proven to help strengthen alliances. But this is IWA and Konoha we are talking about. Ryzen points a fork at her, swallowing his food in the process. Aren't you the one who was saying one of us has to take the initiative? Well, consider this Konoha taking the initiative. Say we swapped one genin team for a duration of 4 months. 4 months should be an adequate time for a group to get accustomed to each village, then we can switch again. After 5 rotations we can negotiate once again how many teams to switch. Deidara takes a sip of her water, thinking on his words. You know what? Fine. If you all are serious enough about peace, who am I to stop you? The day where our world is peaceful and there is no more war is the day my dream comes true. Let's do it. A determined grin fills Deidara's face, full of hope and strength that reminds Raizen of his younger self. Where did Deidara go wrong? Not this time. This time, we will fix it all. Right, Kurama? I hate to admit it, Kit, but she does look like a younger you. I agree, we need to fix everything. Deidara extends her hand over the table, which Raizen readily shakes. Great, that was actually one of the large points we were having an issue finalizing. Raizen nods, about to open his mouth when suddenly, there is a knock at the door. Excuse me? The table's occupants nod, as he gets up from the table and makes his way to the door. Upon opening, a slender Anbu is lingering on the porch. Hokage-sama has requested your presence in the council room immediately. Raizen nods, face grim and brow furrowed as he closes the door. Walking back into the house, he makes his way to his bedroom to grab some scrolls and ink, stopping by the kitchen to inform his guests. My apologies, but I have been summoned by Hiruzen for some reason. Itachi-san, Deidara, we shall talk at a later date. Please make yourselves at home. With that, Raizen strides out the door, sweeping away his hair from his eyes. With a gentle knock and a nod to the secretary on duty, Raizen enters the council room with little expectation. Upon entering, his eyes widen slightly as he takes in all the clan heads present. Swiftly, he makes his way to the only chair left available, in between Tsum and Shikaku. Hiruzen nods gratefully to Raizen, before speaking. Now I am sure almost none of you have any inclination as to why you are here. With many agreeing nods and curious glances to Hiruzen, who leans back in his chair with a solemn air about him. I am afraid I have some potentially troubling news. We were just informed moments ago that Suna has been directly attacked by an unknown entity. They have sent a messenger asking for assistance. The air thickens in the room as everyone takes in the news. Suna was never attacked this early in the last timeline. No, they were not. Which is very disturbing, as there aren't many forces currently around that could attack a major village, even one as pitiful as Suna is at this point. Shikaku leans forward, hands clasped, an expression grim. Is Raza still alive? Our last report stated that all of the council and its members, including Raza, are safe and healthy. If not a little beat up, but they will live to bicker amongst politics another day. Shikaku nods, with the tension in the room lessening slightly. What is the extent of the damage? It is logical for us to calculate what has been lost before proceeding with any plan. The near silent words of Shibi gains an approving eye from Raizen, with a similar glint in Shikaku's eye as well. The report said they lost a quarter of the shinobi, mainly Genin and Chunin. What really hurt them was the loss of the warehouses with their food and water. Deafening silence fills the room, practically caving the walls in. With so much lost food and water they won't last a week during the summer. Shit, Raizen speaks, which gains many surprising looks from the room. Were the attackers identified at all? Hiruzen shakes his head. Nothing, not even a single piece of clothing was seen by any witnesses. Again, silence permeates the air, practically creating a small void in the middle of the room. Raizen interlocks his fingers as he rests his chin on them, eyes darting about the room. He catches Hiruzen's eye, the unspoken question there. He simply closes his eyes and gives one single shake of the head. A sigh from Hiruzen's direction barely slips through the eerie silence. We should take this opportunity to invade them. After all, the peace treaty you signed, Hiruzen, was made with the 3rd Kazekage, not the 4th. There's no reason to uphold it. We can swoop in and take what we need. We can't give this opportunity up. The venomous words of Danzo rupture the silent void in the room, practically sucking in any emotion but a raw cold that has replaced everything. Sim stands abruptly from her chair, sending it clattering to the floor. They are our allies, you bastard! You would willingly strike a crippled village that wouldn't be able to muster any kind of defense. You piece of shit. You shouldn't even be in this meeting, let alone be speaking here. Danzo's one eye narrows in irritation. You would do well to. He's interrupted as Raizen stands, placing a gentle hand on Sim's shoulder. Elder Danzo. According to the clan and village establishment charter, what exactly is the power ranking in a village? Danzo turns his head to Raizen, shock all but visible in his eye, hidden behind his stoic visage. Danzo remains silent though, until a pointed cough from Hiruzen has him responding. The Hokage, the founding clans, the 6 noble clans, then the rest of the clans. After that, it's the civilian representative. Raizen nods, a certain gleam in his eye Shikaku sees right away. Right. So if that is the power ranking for the village, would you mind telling me where exactly the Elder Council fits in there? Silence, this time one full of approval and gratitude from the rest of the clan heads. As I thought so. If you wouldn't mind, until the advisory council is called upon, please allow the clan heads to deliberate our current situation. With that, he guides Tsum back into her now upright seat. Then, having sat back down, he nods to Hiruzen, moving past the suggestion made by the advisory council. I would like to propose a suggestion. Send a team of jonin, one with at least one clan head present, to go to Suna and assess the damage for our own eyes and report back. From there, the next plan of action should be decided. The gratitude seeping from Hiruzen is so obvious that the rest of the clan heads seemingly chuckle. A wise proposition from the young clan head, Hayashi Hyuga agrees from across the table. One I support. Clan head Uzumaki, who would you suggest goes with the team? Ryzen nods to Hayashi, who remains with the cool image the entire Hyuga house portrays. As I am young, I shall explain my thought process first instead of just saying who I think it should be. I ruled out yourself, Hayashi Dano, due to the factor of there being many in this world who seek your dojutsu. If the enemy decides to strike while our team is there, minimizing our loss is crucial. Hayashi nods, a somewhat appreciative gleam in his eyes. Moving on, we can't send myself. As much as I believe I would do well, having little political background and being a relatively new clan head, I fear I would have trouble with their counsel and maneuvering about. We also can't send Shikaku Dano or Inoichi Dano, both who hold extremely vital positions to our village. Same reason for Hiruzen, we can't send our Hokage. A round of nods from the room, and even a murmured thanks from Inoichi. That leaves Shibi Dano, Choza Dano or Tsum Dano as our only options. Personally, I believe all three would be valuable in the team, so it would be more of a matter of who we want for the rest of the team. Stunned silence is Ryzen's answer, before Shikaku speaks up. Now that we have narrowed down the clan head list, perhaps we look at the list for the team we want. We should send at least 6 jonin with the clan head, so 7 in total. Are there any suggestions? Though Shikaku makes the question to the group, Ryzen can feel his eyes boring to him. I know it's only because I caught his interest. I'm a puzzle he has to solve. Hokage-sama, who would you recommend on this mission? Hiruzen takes a puff from his pipe, before exhaling and setting it back down slowly. I believe there are very few we can send who I can put my full faith in to come out of any situation there, and not be fazed. With how precarious the situation at Suna might be, I believe our first choice, as I am sure many would guess, should be Kakashi-kun. Many nods of agreement from the clan heads, yet Inoichi speaks up. Hokage-sama, I am sure you read my last psychological evaluation report of Hataki. He, in my honest opinion, needs to do a solid month of therapy before he can go out in the field. That man has possibly the worst case of PTSD I have ever seen. The simple fact that he is walking around is a miracle in itself. Hiruzen puts a hand up, stalling Inoichi in his tracks. Bottom line is Inoichi, we need him because of his experience. Kakashi-kun holds the second highest mission record in the village, second only to Tobarama-sama himself. His skill will be invaluable, and for all his unwillingness to partake in politics, his mind is certainly one of the best. Therefore, I believe he is a sure choice for this mission. Inoichi fumes for a minute, but relents nonetheless. But what of the academy students that are graduating tomorrow and are supposed to meet their senseis? If I recall, Kakashi has a team this year, which would mean they have to wait for him to get back. The voice of Hamura speaks from the back, turning the heads of the council to glare at him. He shrinks into his seat, having been cowed into submission. That will more than likely be the case for a few students this year. That is a problem for another time, no? Let us continue. Fugaku's rough voice fills the room, returning everyone's attention to the matter at hand. Ryzen stands up. I would suggest sending Gai-san, simply because he gets along well with just about everyone. Ryzen says. Next I would like to suggest one more person, Uchiha Shursui. Silence fills the room, with the stares of all the clan heads swerving to Ryzen. You would willingly suggest an Uchiha for a mission, Uzumaki-san? Ryzen nods to Fugaku. If I may be frank, this tension that has seemingly sprung up out of nowhere between your clan and the village is utter blasphemy, and should be disregarded. The Uchiha are one of the founding clans of Konoha, and the only founding clan that still has significant numbers and influence in the village. If the right man for the job is an Uchiha, that shouldn't be a reason to not nominate them. I believe Shursui Uchiha would do well on this mission. With his calm mind and caring personality, I believe he would be a great addition. Stunned silence again follows Ryzen's proclamation, as well as the silent fuming of a dark councilman. I agree with both suggestions. I would also like to suggest we have a Hyuga, Inuzuka and Aburain go, as they could help with any rescue operations. Do any of the clan heads have someone in mind they would send? Shikaku's voice of reason once again brings the discussion to a new level. Some stands from her seat. I'll be the clan head to go, since it's been a while since I got out of the village. Hayashi and Shibi, you two got anybody in mind? Shibi stands as Some sits back down. I believe my younger brother, Seiji would do well and is willing to go on this mission. Hayashi Dano? Hayashi stands as Shibi sits down. I am sure I could find a suitable candidate from the branch clan to fill the position. Hayashi sits down after his comment, maintaining a straight face. That gives us 6 candidates including Tsum, so we need one more suggestion for this mission. Does anybody have one in mind? Silence fills the room at Hiruzen's question. All eyes dart around the room, waiting for someone to give and volunteer a friend or ally to a potentially suicidal mission. Shikaku stands after a moment, his face clouded as he drums his fingers on the table. If I may, I would like to recommend Asuma. Nobody but Shikaku would be brave enough to recommend sending Hiruzen's son out. It's a good move though. Not to mention I doubt Suna knows of the tension between son and father. It is a great ploy both politically and strategically. With a nod, Ryzen turns his thoughts back to focusing on the room. Very well. Kakashi, Guy, Asuma, Shursui, Seiji and one to be picked by Hayashi shall depart on this mission. This council is adjourned for the time. Ryzen, if you will? The rest of the clan heads nod as Ryzen gets up, following Hiruzen back into his private office. Once out of view, Hiruzen's shoulders drop in resignation and fatigue. I am too old for this. Minato was supposed to be here, holding this hat atop his head. Not me. Ryzen simply nods, keeping quiet. I take it this never happened in your time? Ryzen moves to the small, velvet seat sitting in the corner. Sitting down, he lets his head tilt back in resignation. He stays silent for a moment as Hiruzen moves to sit behind his desk, lighting his pipe. No, nothing like this ever happened. Not this early anyways, and not on this scale either. Quite frankly, I don't have any idea of who would hold the power to even attempt this. Akatsuki shouldn't be anywhere near this level as of yet, and Orochimaru certainly doesn't have a deep enough base set up. Shadows dance around the room, with no light but the one lit candle sitting on Hiruzen's desk. Its flame dances like a Suna belly dancer in its candle holder. Then we shall hold to the age-old shinobi saying. Before battle, tighten your armor and strengthen your resolve. Ryzen nods as the smoke from Hiruzen's pipe fills the void in the room. Dark clouds hang heavy overhead. What if Godlike Naruto takes his inheritance by force? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoyed this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel. And leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.